going on, everybody? Wookiee Kush here, coming at you live from the Trichome Chasers TV channel. Just decided to pop up a little stream for you guys here tonight. We got Loki Grow in the building here with us. SoCal should be joining us soon. Also, we'll have Grandmaster Level, and Grow Mouse should be stopping in at some point. But just wanted to get a little live stream going, just kind of trying to fill the Sunday night void on the channel here, and wanted to try something a little new. We want to give do some new grower advice. If anybody, any new growers out there would like, got some questions you want to ask that maybe, it's too intimidating to ask elsewhere, or if you just want to, maybe you're in one system now and you want to switch to another, we're kind of just going to be kicking it here. We're just going to be kicking it, maybe smoke something, you know what I'm saying? Answer some questions, and it's an AMA. So, if you have a question for anybody on the panel, we'll talk about it. So, what's going on though, Loki? How you doing tonight, bro?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Just relaxing on my Sunday night. I actually want to watch Walking Dead.
Yeah, word.
I think the last episode is tonight.
Oh, is it the last one?
Yeah, for the season.
Oh shit.
Either tonight is the last one or the one before the last, but I know it's somewhere there.
I don't think it's tonight. I gotta look this up now, but yeah, it came on a couple hours ago, so I got it recorded. I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, man.
Yeah, I watch it on Cody, so I don't even know which episode I'm.
Yeah, I got that Cody shit going too. But shout out to chat. What we got? Who got in here? We got Growing Cali Dank, Dag Nugs, Grow Lab. What's up, homie? Or Growing Bud Man, Mr. Green Pots, Cyclops. What's up, my bro? Mike Graz, Tony Baloney. How's everybody doing tonight?
Yeah, pardon me to chat. I'm actually on my iPad, so I don't even see what's going on in chat right now.
Oh, word, yeah.
Any questions from new growers? Anybody wants to try hydro?
I just got a message from Grow Mouse. I think he forgot to set his clocks or something. I don't think he jumped his clock forward, so he thinks it's 7 o'clock right now. And he said, "Oh well, we got about 50 minutes, right?" That's right, stoners. Yesterday was spring forward, daylight savings. Set your clocks forward so you don't miss out on all the streams. If for no reason other than that. And fuck, how many of you guys were fucking blazing at 3:20 today, man? Thinking it was 4:20. That's fucked up.
It's always 4:20. If my cell phone didn't automatically change, I wouldn't even know the time went back.
Right? Yeah, no, that's what happened to me last night. I was up. Fuck, it was like, I think they changed it 2 a.m. is when your like phone will change automatically. And I was in there like 1:30, got in there about 1:30, and started doing some garden work and shit. And then all of a sudden I looked at my phone. I'm like, what the fuck? It's 3:30. I ain't even been in here. I've been in here for 2 hours. I was like, oh, spring forward.
I was actually doing some garden work just now. About to run down here. Hopefully my connection won't drop.
If you guys aren't subbed up to Loki, you guys need to check out Loki on YouTube. He dropped his first video yesterday, and fuck, was it a dope first video, man. I was surprised. I mean, me and Loki have been talking, and he kind of was like, man, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to make a YouTube video, and I'm kind of, I don't really know what to say. And I'm like, bro, just get in there. And then he comes out with this fucking fire-ass video, acting like he don't know what he's doing, man. So props to you, Loki.
I'm trying.
Hey, man, you're doing fucking just fine, bro. That was a dope first video. That was dope for any video, man. I enjoyed it.
I sexed out my riffs today. I looked through all of them. You guys can see my video?
Yeah, we got you.
I got 5 females. 6 females. Out of the pack of riff that I got 5 males. 1 seed never made it. This is the only one that's still like struggling to come back. But the rest of them, they're drooping because they're about to go to sleep. The lights are about to go off. And I'm just doing a quick water change. I wanted to change my buckets and put some single tops, but I let a friend borrow my hole saw today, and I didn't remember I might need it later. So I'll get it tomorrow.
All right, I got questions starting to roll in chat here, so let me get my little thing out here. I don't want to miss any of them, so I start jotting them down here. But let's see here. See, Joel Thornton is asking, where is the best place in the U.S. to set up shop? You know, I don't really know. You might have to give me a little bit more specifics on that, as far as what you mean, as far as from like a vending standpoint. Maybe is that what you're asking, or, you know, I can't really give a really good answer on that. I mean, it's, you know, I guess any state with a good medical. I know, you know, if you're trying to vend, I know a lot of small growers been pushed out in Washington. I've heard a lot of bad things about what's going on in Washington, so I can't really recommend Washington. But you know, I don't know. It just depends. Are you talking about just, you know, a home grow? Or are you talking about, you know, 15 acres or some greenhouses? I don't know what exactly you mean. So maybe be a little bit more specific. Um, Reservoir Scroggs is asking, is it suicide to take a 5.5 day vacation with a drip system in veg?
No.
No, I don't think so. No, not at all. I mean, I mean, it would be suicide to take a 5.5 day vacation without a drip system, in veg. So if you got a drip system and you're taking a vacation, I think I mean, that's kind of what you need to do is have at least a drip system, or, you know, if you're in DWC, you know, you need to have your plants watered while you're on vacation. So if you set up a drip system, you'd be good to go. Oh, I see we got SoCal in here. What's going on, my bro?
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Doing good,
What's
man.
going on, SoCal?
What's up, Loki? How are you?
Regular, man, just in the garden.
Yeah, good to meet you, man. Good to meet you.
So actually, what I want to do, SoCal, now that you're in here, man, I was just kind of going over, you know, what we want to do here with this stream. It's not anything set in stone here, guys. It's not like a every Sunday thing yet. It may become that, but right now it's just we're kind of testing the waters on this, you know, seeing what the response is. But what it's going to be, it's a new growers kind of AMA stream. So if you want to ask any question, I mean, it doesn't matter how. There's no stupid questions here. You need to know how many times to water a day. You want to know just whatever it is, man. I mean, all the way up to technical questions, we can answer those too. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to get on philosophical tangents about what's better than what. We'll tell you, you know, we'll give you the best answer to our ability and try to give you, you know, panelists that are able to answer it. So whatever questions you got, and what I will do, kind of something that just popped in my head right now, is I don't want anybody to be intimidated to ask questions. I don't want them to be, you know, afraid that if their name gets out there with a stupid question, that's going to be a bad thing. So if you ask your question, I will not read your name live. So that way, after the stream posts on the internet, your name will not be attached to it whatsoever. The chat does not stay. So your question will be on the air, but your name will not be. So no need to be embarrassed. Let's see if we got any more questions rolling in here real quick.
How long you guys been on air for?
Oh, just a few minutes, man. We just started up.
Cool.
Joel Thornton. Okay, so, oh wait, what is? Okay, so he was the one that asked this a second ago, so I'll still read his name. But he's asking about maybe SoCal. I don't know if you have any opinions on this. I really don't have much of an opinion on it, honestly, just because I can't really comment for anywhere other than where I am, which I'm not really interested in advertising. But he's asking where in the U.S. would be the best place to set up shop, and I asked him, you know, what if we're talking about small time or like, you know, 10 greenhouses or what he's talking about. So he said small time and first time with great aspirations, just looking to avoid any problems, I guess. So,
Yeah.
you know, I just think the only thing, I mean, maybe SoCal, you can touch on it, but the only thing I could say to that is just, you know, if there's a place, you know, obviously a legal state, you know, which would be anywhere, you know, I think there's, I could probably bust out the list of legal states, but you got California, Washington, Oregon, Colorado, and then there's all kinds of medical states. I think Nevada just legalized recreational. So if you're in with a recreational or medical state, you're going to be good to go. If you're trying to make money off of it, some may be better than others. Like Washington, I hear is, you know, big pharma's kind of pushing everybody out, so that might not be your best bet. But what do you think, SoCal?
Well, I had a buddy who back in the day moved in with me. He moved from the East Coast, And it's kind of a crazy story. His cat ended up scratching my dog's eye, and my dog's eye swelled shut. And his mom was like, well, I don't want you burning bridges while you're out there, so I'm gonna go ahead and put you up in a hotel. So, but anyway, I told him, I said one of the main things that, if you're gonna move out here and somewhere where you don't know anybody, it's not so much recommended because it's harder to. It's just easier to meet up with people and to get those connections if you move somewhere where you know somebody, or somebody who some kind of like-minded growers. And that's kind of what he did. He didn't want to just move anywhere. He wanted to move out to San Diego. He knew me and another person out there, and he ended up having to move back to the East Coast because he didn't. He tried to do too much of his own thing without knowing anybody there. So. If you're trying to grow and then offload some of your product, I'd stay more around like the city areas. But if you're just trying to do something for yourself, then anywhere in the country would be good. I mean, California, I'm not sure about Oregon, but I know a lot of people. There's a lot of laws out there to be able to get rid of your stuff there, and a lot more stricter than like California and Nevada and stuff.
Word. Yeah, man.
Can I chime in on that?
Yeah, come on, Loki, go ahead.
He's asking about growing for personal use, so I don't really see myself picking up and moving to another state to grow for personal use.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, if you're doing it personal, just keep your business private, and you should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, but I mean, as far as if he's asking, where's the best place? I mean, there's definitely, you're going to be a lot better off in a legal state than you are in a red state. So, but yeah, like Loki said, you know what I'm saying? If you're just doing it for your personal thing, I mean, handle your business. Okay, so I got another question here. This one, okay, so somebody asked, Wookiee Kush, do you notice things floating in your flood tray after using Mammoth P? I just started using Mammoth P for the first time, and I have not noticed anything flooding my flood tray other than just, little bits of cocoa and stuff that's usually in there anyways. So that would be a no. But if I do notice anything, I'll let you guys know. But still new to it, so I can't really. I have heard a couple people say that they notice like some weird type of algae growth with it, just because of the microbes that are in there. They see some like red algae and stuff like that, which I wouldn't be too worried about. But I don't know. You guys ever tried Mammoth P? You know anything about it?
I have not.
I've used Mammoth P, but I didn't see anything in my water.
Oh yeah, and you're in DWC too, so you would have seen, and there would be no reason for anything floating around in yours. So you didn't see anything?
I would notice it. I didn't see anything at all.
Word. Okay. So there you go. Definitely
normal.
Shouldn't be anything floating around if you do have it. Okay, Reservoir Scrog says we can use his name. He wants to know if we can discuss when and how much milliliters per gallon of CalMag to use in cocoa.
I can help with that.
Yeah, go ahead and hit that because I grow in cocoa, but all the nutrients I use don't require a CalMag supplement, so I don't have much of an opinion on it. But go ahead, SoCal. I'm going to step away for a second too, so I'll let you take it.
Okay. It kind of depends on what CalMag you're using. If you're using the CalMag Plus, you can go as high as 10 milliliters per gallon, but most people stay around like 5 milliliters per gallon. But you can definitely, when you're in bloom, when your plant's getting a lot bigger, you can ramp that up. But just make sure that once you're in peak bloom, after peak bloom, you're ramping that back down. You don't want to stay, at that higher point all the way through. That's going to be more like peak, and anywhere from 5 to 10 would be my recommendation. And also, if you're in veg, more like early veg, you can, if your plants are like a foot tall or something, you may want to stay around 2 or 3 milliliters per gallon. But just check on them, see how they do. Plants can, handle a pretty good amount of CalMag. So anywhere from 8 to 10 milliliters per gallon in bloom is what I do. And then, half that for veg, and then half that for early veg. What about you, Loki?
With CalMag, I can't really tell you how much per millimeter because every company's CalMag's consistency is different. So what I would do is I mix it to around 200, 250 ppms of CalMag, That's how I rate my food. Sometimes I don't keep track of how much millimeters I use. I will after I clock in how much I need. So I know my final ppm that I want to get to. I know that I want about 200 to 250 ppms of CalMag, so I'll see how much of that I need from my reservoir, depending on the size.
Nice. Yeah, I don't really go by ppms because I just haven't really had too much of a problem. But if it's something that you're trying to dial in, I would definitely go by ppms. But Botanicare CalMag Plus, and what's the other one I have? I can't remember the name of the other one I have, but it's made by EarthGrow.
That's the thing about CalMag is that there's so many different ones you can't go off of millimeter. Because what if I'm using straight Epsom salt?
Absolutely.
How many millimeters would I need?
Yeah, well, yeah. When you talk about rates, you have to talk about the product. Like I said, Botanicare, CalMag Plus. That's the one I was talking about, and then the EarthGrow. Yeah. But anytime you put an amount on it, like you said, Loki, you got to make sure that it's to that product specific, because it's not to all of them.
Yeah. So my simple answer would be like, just get to the desired number that you like, and that's where you should be. So if you know that you want 200 ppms, mix 200 ppms into your base water and mix some CalMag into your base water and see how much you need for 200 ppms, and go off of that ratio, or whatever ppms you would want to do. For me, I have to go off of numbers. I can't go off of dirt. I don't have enzymes that could save me. So I need to know what my beginning and what my end is.
Right.
I just have to.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing it for a while. I'm sure you have too, but like I kind of have my set thing that I do, you know. So I think like for like you said, like for somebody who's just learning about CalMag and stuff, you know, your ppms are going to be your best way to tell. You know, check your ppms, you know, the water before you put it in, you know, because sometimes your RO is 20 or 30 or whatever, and then add your CalMag in, and then go from there, you know, because you know, like Loki said, stuff can get off track pretty easy, you know. But the rates on the bottle have really worked for me for the most part. But it also depends on the size of the plant. If you have just a humongous plant, you know, you're going to have to obviously ramp up the CalMag. So, and the plant will let you know too. You'll get browning on the bottom.
That's what I was just going to say. The first thing, I mean, you can go by the bottle, and of course, just best thing to do is just keep an eye on the plant, right? I mean, it'll respond, and you know, you can tell if you use too much or too little. Yeah,
and you got to be one of those guys who really look at your plants though, because you don't want the whole bottoms to be browning before you tell. You know, I look at my plants a lot, so you know, I can usually tell if there's a browning or there's not. And you'll also notice because the very tops of the plants will have an overall paleness to it. You know, that new growth will be kind of small, and it'll have an overall paleness coupled with that browning on the lowers. So yeah, start out with that low ppm, and then you know, just take it from there.
Word. I got another question coming in here. Let's see. Somebody asked how often do you guys feed with Mammoth and how strong? Stick with 0.6 milliliters per gallon once a week. It's funny. I actually have a Mammoth P feed chart sitting right in front of me here. Just got it from the other day. Let's see if I can focus in on it a little bit. But what they have is they have different feeding strengths for depending on if you're in soil, cocoa, or hydro. And I think it's kind of confusing for me because like for me I'm cocoa and flood and drain. So do I go by the cocoa or the hydro? I don't really know, but I'm assuming you know that, and I've kind of heard from a couple people that maybe the 0.6 is enough, because you see the hydro is all 0.6 milliliters per gallon throughout the whole cycle. So I've heard a couple people tell me, you know, that have been using it, that 0.6 is plenty. But according to the feed chart, if you're in soil, you're going to want to do, you know, it changes. So the first 4 weeks is 0.6 milliliters per gallon, 1 for the weeks 5 and 6, and then it jumps up to 1.5, jumps up to 2.5, all the way up to, I think the highest is 4 there, and then back down to 1 for flush. So it's just like anything else, man. I mean, experiment with it, I guess. I mean, I would probably, or I won't say I would probably, what I'm doing is I'm sticking with the 0.6 for now. And partially that's because, you know, I want to start slow with it. And also just because, you know, they sent me samples and they're not enough for me to run that other schedule. It's barely enough for me to make it through the hydro schedule. So if I was going to run the regular cocoa soil schedule, I wouldn't have enough. I'd have to buy some. So I want to try it first. So
what actually is in Mammoth P? I'm not even familiar with it. I mean, I heard it, but
sure. I think it's some type of proprietary, you know, they're not going to tell you exactly what's in it. I mean, the stuff's like 200 bottles a liter, but, you know, it's basically
200 bottles a liter.
Yeah, seriously, and it's,
Or dollars
it's basically beneficial microbes, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, let's see if we can pop over to their website and look it up real
So
quick.
no like NPK in it?
No.
Okay.
And I can tell you, as far as adding if you're adding at the 0.6 milliliters per gallon ratio, you're not going to see any ppm jumps from it if you on your ppm meters. I can tell you that from experience. It doesn't add any ppms. But we talked a little bit about Mammoth P last night on the stream, and it basically kind of the consensus is that it's really expensive, and if you want to use it, you can, but I guess there's possibly maybe some other ways to get the same effect from some products you can make at home type thing. And me, I'm the type of person that I'd rather just buy it than make it. If it's some type of like tea I got to brew or something like that, I'd rather just buy it. But when it comes to $200 a milliliter, that's when it that gets up there. So it'd have to be pretty good for me to jump to that. So let me see if I can pop up my screen share here. All right. So here's Mammoth P's website, product. Let's see what we got. Okay, so Mammoth P is the first organically derived microbial inoculant that maximizes phosphorus and micronutrient cycling to maximize bud growth, increase yield, and enhance plant health. So that's kind of what I was looking for right there. So, it gives you the keywords, a microbial inoculant, and it maximizes phosphorus and micronutrient cycling. So that gives you the the basic. They're not going to tell you exactly what's in it, but
right.
So is what it is. I mean, try it if you want to give it a shot. They actually, if you hit them up on Instagram, they'll probably send you a free sample. I mean, or if you catch them at a cup or something, they'll probably they're giving out samples all the time. So that's how I got mine. I just hit them up on Instagram and they should.
There's a grow expo coming up in Reno on my birthday next month or this month.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be there.
I heard about that, but isn't it like fucking $300 to get in?
I think that was the other one. That was the one for all of the for like all the hydroponics shops and all that kind of stuff.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I think this one might be cheaper. I think this is more for the consumers.
Is it up? It's this weekend?
No, it's the 25th and 26th, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if it's is it the Canna 25th, the Canna Grow Expo. I remember looking at this and thinking about possibly taking a road trip to get there and go check it out. But damn, man, that's when I saw the one I looked at said it was like $350 for entry. So I was like, nah.
Was that the last one though? The last one that came here? You looked, or was that?
No, I was looking at this one. Yeah, for this year. So we're talking about it. Yeah.
Not again.
But maybe I'm wrong. I'm looking it up right now. We'll see. Anybody? Let's see if we got any questions rolling. Does anyone have any experience with it or advice on growing in sand as a medium?
I wouldn't.
Don't do it.
I wouldn't do it. I mean, you have to think. What are your roots gonna hold on to?
There's enough air in there. Also,
and sand. I don't think sand drains off. First of all, what are you gonna put it in? Sand. I don't know. I don't know. I can't give my opinion on that. I think it sounds.
I think it'll clump up, and then once it clumps up and it gets too clumped up, it'll lose oxygen.
Yeah, I don't think it would have proper drainage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, real quick, here you go, SoCal. Single day entry just Saturday includes access to educational sessions, expo hall, and a lunch, refreshments, happy hour, evening events, and endless networking opportunities. $249.
Oh man.
$299 at the door. Sunday only is $199. $349 for both days.
That sucks because me and my girl were gonna go out there, go to the expo, and then stay at the Grand Sierra Resort, but cause that's where it's at.
Yeah.
For my birthday, but
that's bunk. Sounds like it's, and when I was reading about it, it sounds like it's like a more of like a, like it's not like a cup where you're just walking around. There's booths everywhere, and you kind of just do everything, and
not like a normal grow expo.
No, it's like it sounds like it's more like okay, you have to. We're everybody that's here is going to this class, and you're like in this class, and then there's another class, and then now we're all gonna go break and have lunch, and then we come back for another class. So I'm like,
Yeah, I like learning, but I'm just not down for that right now. My life's too busy to go sit in a class and take notes and shit right now.
Yeah, but yeah, and sometimes you get in there and you don't fucking care what they're saying. You don't want to hear none of that shit. So
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
one
so
thing
you might.
like Pedro said on the Grow Tube roundtable, I thought was pretty cool. We've been doing what we've been doing for years. I've been doing what I've been doing for years, but I never really knew why and what it does. So I'm definitely intrigued on that. But it's like, slowly but surely, you're not going to learn all that shit in one night. It's something that like the beneficial bacteria that I use, I can't name fucking most of those. Not saying I would want to, but just knowing like endo and ecto, the ecto does, is not for cannabis and stuff like that. That's stuff that I've kind of recently learned. So, I was just fucking brewing it up before and it worked. I mean, the plants I gave it to, it worked. The ones I didn't to, they didn't look as good. So, yeah, it's nice to know some of the stuff that's in it.
Okay,
So,
let's
so,
see.
so that'd be the only reason I would go to that. But yeah.
Yeah, word. Let's see if we got any more questions rolling in here. Dag Nugs Grow Lab. I saw you post this on Instagram the other day, bro. So I'm confident that you don't care if I read your name here, but he's asking if anybody's heard of the Tappin Roots. It's a product called Tappin Roots. He got some as a sample, and it's an all stages fertilizer made of botanical extracts that are high in micronutrients. I have never heard of it until I saw your Instagram post. So, no, you guys heard of that before?
I have not. Was it like an accelerator type deal?
Never heard of it.
Hormone?
It just
Yeah.
says, yeah, it's type. I don't know. That's a good one, man. Let us know how it works out for you, Dagnugs. I'd be curious to know, man. Um, let's see
There's
here.
so many fertilizers now.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, there's always been a lot, but now it's just like
Yeah, it's
so
crazy,
it's
isn't it?
crazy. And I think they're all like copies of another one and just another copy. They all come out with
Yeah.
pretty much the same things. I don't even care anymore.
Well, to prove your point, like Vader said, the chemist from Advanced Nutrients left Advanced and went with Ramo, and now it's Ramo Nutrients. Same formula.
Okay, somebody's asking, do you guys top cocoa with hydroton or hydrogen, however you say that, sand or nat mix to keep pests down? Um, I I do not.
I,
Well, let me put it this way: if you're gonna top, it depends on what system you're in. Okay, um, if you're in flood and drain, you can top with hydrogen if you want to, but it's not recommended because a lot of the hydrogen, I believe the pH, it's gonna screw with your pH. I'm trying to remember in my
I don't
head.
think it messes with your pH.
think it
It's
can grow bacteria and stuff down in there?
I'm not really sure, but I know a
I'm,
couple people that I've been told not to do it before. Let's put it that way. And because I know a couple people that used to, maybe some people used to put it on the bottom for flood and drain, and that I was told not to do that. And putting it on the top is not really a good thing either. But if you're in flood and drain, you're not top feeding. It's not really going to hurt anything as much. So you could, but I mean, one thing I know a lot of people use is like that diatomaceous earth for as a little top dressing for to keep gnats down. It actually has so it's like basically like little sharp pieces of glass type. The as a crude way of putting it, that will slice the larva open. In the gnats as they try to get in there, and will kill, so they can't get into the cocoa to lay eggs or anything like that. Or whether if there is eggs in there, when they're coming up to try to get out and fly out, they're going to be like just scored and die. So
Mhm.
that's one thing I know people use, but I see
When
people
it,
topping with hydrogen on their pots. I don't know. I mean, I just don't really see the benefit to it. I don't think that's
well,
really going to keep gnats out.
there's a couple benefits from it, but it's not for gnats. I mean, it acts as like a mulch, and that can keep your pots from,
Like
not.
keep from drying out a little bit, right?
Yeah, but if you have gnats, you might have a problem with your. Okay, so when I switched to Cycle Platinum's Cocoa Pearl, and it's got the RHA stamp on it, that ever since it went to that, I haven't had bugs since. And I would think that depending on where you source your cocoa from, it could have gnats already in the cocoa. So definitely source your cocoa from somewhere good. And I haven't used any of the grow stones or anything like that. But what I do is every time when I water, I I have a pump sprayer of neem oil sitting there, neem oil extract, and I just hit the top of the pots with it, starting from when they're small, And then I also spray all the way through veg. I do one more spray through, into bloom. But yeah, I mean, I would just really source the cocoa from somewhere good, like Cycle Platinum. I highly recommend that. They don't have those little holes in it where gnats can get in there, because a lot of times they're getting in there from the hydro stores and stuff like that, from the way that they're stacking them. Especially here up in
Yeah.
Nevada, you get a lot of rain, and then you drive by one of the hydro stores I know of, and you can see all that soil and stuff sitting out on pellets wrapped in the rain.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta know. I mean, when you go to your hydro store to buy cocoa or soil, I mean, if you don't know where they're keeping it, you know what I'm saying, ask them. Or I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where once you find a reliable source, like especially if you're just using plain cocoa. I mean, cocoa's cocoa, man. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you're using Canna or BioBiz or whatever you're using. It's like it's cocoa, bro. So if you find a clean source with no pests and just rock with it, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I highly
Don't change it up.
recommend.
There's no reason.
Yeah, and I highly recommend add perlite to that. Do a 70-30. If you're having little issues with gnats, mix up your 70-30. People like Bader and stuff, they're using pure cocoa. But he knows exactly how much to water. He's been doing it for a while. So if you're Kush kind of starting out on cocoa, I would highly recommend ramping up with perlite. And also because if you look in my bloom room, I have pure cocoa with cocoa. It's the Cycle Platinum Cocoa Bits with the cocoa chunks in it. And then right next to that, you have the Cycle Platinum Cocoa Pearl. And the stuff with, the cocoa pearl with the perlite in it is just smoking the straight cocoa. So, and I really believe it's it's an oxygen deal.
Word. See if we got any more questions here. Supreme G's asking if how big my reservoir for my flood and drain is, and if those are 3-gallon pots I use. So my reservoir it's just the 40-gallon Botanicare reservoir, and it's a 4x4 table, so they kind of go hand in hand. You get a 4x4 table, you need a 40-gallon. I also have a 3x3 tray, and I use one of those Home Depot 27-gallon totes, but I only put about 20 gallons in it. So you can, it really jumps as you go down. So 3x3, you can get away with 20, 25 gallons. And then I have a 2x2 tray as well, and I use the same Home Depot tote, and I only put about 15 gallons in for that one. I could put more, but I just prefer to save nutrients, so I use less water. And the pots, they're the 9-inch white square pots, and they hold about 2.5 gallons, depending on how full you fill them up. So about 2.5 gallons. I'm gonna step away one sec, guys. Let me see if I can get another question for you guys to roll with while I'm gone. Okay, so what are your thoughts on ease of pest control with an organic grow? Does it take a lot of work, or can pests be taken care of fairly easily?
You gonna go for that one, Lucky, first? I mean, Loki. Sorry, buddy. We have a Lucky there too.
Yeah, I don't have any pests in my system. I've never had a pest problem. The most I've ever had is gnats, and I just use the dunks, and they're gone.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's what I'm all over those dunks. If you guys aren't using the dunks and it's not working for you, you're probably not using them right or something, because I know I do have gnats because I also run super soil, but and I think a little bit are coming from the soil. But those dunks, if you keep up on those dunks, I'll go in there and I'll see, a couple dead ones here and there, and I'm pretty positive it's from those dunks. And that's one thing that I've done this grow is really, really up those dunks. So
I've had nothing but success with those. I haven't had nothing but success with those dunks. Welcome, Grow Mouth.
There's a mouse in the building.
Yeah, the mouse just walked in.
Hey, what's up, fellas? Sorry, I was trying to not hop in your mid sentence, but with the delay, it's kind of tough.
Sure, we know how you are.
Grow Mouse, did you forget to set your clocks forward, Grow Mouse?
What? It's today daylight savings time?
Oh,
yes.
It is, yeah.
Yes.
I'm like Loki, dude. We run on our own schedule, man.
All right.
What's up, SoCal? How you doing, dude?
I'm pretty good, man. Worked all day and just tired, but didn't want to miss streaming with you guys. So.
Cool.
I didn't know you were going to be on, though.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have been here. Just kidding.
Not saying that you're late. I mean, you're free to pop in whenever you want. But when you asked me, is it starting in an hour? I'm like, oh, no, he must have forgot to set his clock back or forward, rather.
Dude, I had no idea daylight savings time was even happening this year or this month or this week. I had no clue. But,
I didn't know either till my girlfriend told me.
Yo, so my girl, she was like, so last night was daylight savings. I was like, daylight savings isn't until March. She was like, so what month is this?
Man,
Yeah.
my phone changes
You're right, bro.
automatically, and I was in the garden last night around 1:30, and it changes at 2 o'clock. So I was in the garden, doing some maintenance and stuff.
Oh, that sucks. I didn't even notice that. I gotta go check my garden. The lights are going off an hour different. Oh shit.
Yeah. Everybody make sure if you know what I'm saying, you think your garden's coming on at 8 p.m. or whatever, and you walk into that motherfucker, it's actually not coming on till 9 p.m. So don't bust open that door and you know what I'm saying, the
Yeah.
lights all spread in there.
Yeah, me
That's
and my
one
girl
thing you gotta
got
be careful of.
really stoned, and we were trying to figure out if your lights usually come on at 7, what time are they going to come on now? And we're like, we were just too stoned to figure it out. And I'm like, okay, well, think of it this way: 8 is the new 7. So
Right.
it's gonna shut off at 8.
Yeah, so I mean, but yeah, I was in the garden, doing some work and stuff, and all of a sudden I looked down at my phone. I'm like, fuck, have I been in here for 2 hours? Like, what the fuck? I just walked in here.
Yeah, just screw
Okay,
some shit up.
I can't do simple math. I think everyone that watched my stream yesterday knows that I can't do simple math. If my lights usually come on at 5 p.m., what time do they come on now?
6.
They come on at 6. Okay.
Yeah, I racked my brain earlier figuring that out, so I act like I'm all smart now, but
Hey, Wookiee, I was telling you that, I ripped apart my audio setup. This is the first time I've been back on with it. I haven't tested it. Does it sound okay? Is there background noise or anything? Is it too
yeah,
loud?
you sound more manly.
More manly. Oh, I'll take it. I'll take it. You hear that, ladies?
Yeah, no, you sound good.
Yo,
All right.
yo, I gotta take a second. Gromel,
Yo,
that video you posted, dope. Thank you. That shit was fucking dope.
thanks, dude. That's like, it's like when a producer gets a hold of somebody's song and just like, like remixes it. That was
Yeah, you
that
hit
was
it with
my
a crazy
Gromouse
remix.
remix.
Crazy remix.
I haven't
Yeah,
got
that
to
was-
watch anybody's videos. I've been on this job for 3 days, so I got to catch up.
That was a dope little video put out, man. Hey, and Loki's doing just fine too. What are you up to, about 100 subscribers already in 24 hours, bro?
I mean, it's to the help of the mouse and Wookiee. I appreciate you guys, man.
Oh, I'll help you too, man.
Monster came on there. He hooked me up. Appreciate y'all help, man.
Yeah, dude. I woke up this morning. I was like, oh, my boy Loki, man, I'm gonna blow his shit up. And so I looked and I was like, wait, he's already got 101 subscribers and it hadn't even been 24 hours yet. So that's cool. Everybody's helping out, dude. Because honestly, dude, everybody wants to see more about your garden. You got the DIY DWC. You got more than a grip of cobs. You got quantum boards. You got fluids. You've got the craziest dehumidifier chiller thing that I've ever seen that I want to know more about. And then I'm sure there's more stuff that you got for us.
In time.
In due time.
And for a Gromouse, can you vouch here for a first video drop on YouTube? I mean, was that a fucking dope first video or what?
It was all right.
It's all right. I took my time.
It was all right. And he fucking edited the whole thing on his cell phone.
No,
Bro,
I'm kidding, dude. It was an incredible first video, man. The music was great. A little quick tour. Like, it was like a teaser, carrot on a stick. I loved it. It was incredible.
I couldn't give everything. It was a 0-0 episode. It wasn't a 0-1.
There you go.
I dig it, man. I dig it. So just checking into chat here. Okay, I got a question. It's, do you put the mosquito dunk on the soil, or do you fill a bucket with water and plop one in the water? I'd assume the latter. Anybody want to take this one?
The dunks, so I put them in my reservoir, but if you're not using a reservoir, you want to put them in water, mix it up, and then pour it over your medium.
Yeah, and I do both. I put it in my water, and then I crumble it up as fine as I can, and I pull away some of the soil, and I put it, so that way every watering it's getting it too, because sometimes I'm working and I didn't have time to throw the dunk in there, and if you have one of those recirculating pumps in there, you don't want to put the dunk in there because it'll break apart and clog the pump. So remember that. But yeah, the best way to do is to brew it up as much as you can, because then they start to release more. But what I would do is I take one dunk per plant and I just break up the whole thing along the top of the plant, and there's nothing in my room. I really believe in those dunks.
I put it in even with the pump there. I just break it up so fine that it makes it
Yeah.
way. And I have a filter on my pump, so I clean it every so often.
Nice.
Look how dope that shit is. I gotta get that end of it was just crazy.
The Filmora, dude. It's 40 or I think it's 40 or $50. It's a great little program. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm gonna say.
I was not paying attention to the Nat conversation.
Oh, that was the main advice. You missed that one, Mouse. We're not repeating.
Grow Mouse, just to fill you in on, I don't know if you caught the beginning of it or not, but we're just kind of like shooting the shit here, taking questions, and I'm not gonna read the names of the person asking the questions in case I don't want anybody to feel embarrassed and think that their stupid question, if they feel it's stupid, is going on YouTube forever with their name. So I won't read their name, and we'll just try to knock some questions out, just kind of bullshit, man.
I do know what you're saying. This is the trust tree stream. You're in the nest. There's no such thing as a silly question. Not at all. No judgment. Judgment free. Hell, maybe even I'll ask some stupid questions.
Me too.
So here's a question for Grow Mouse. He wants to know, can you talk about when to use Fulvic and how much? He's in a cocoa drip system.
Sure. I use Fulvic almost every time, when I can afford the acidity of another acid, I'll definitely use Fulvic. I would say 9 times out of 10, I use a locally sourced thing, but we'll just say full power because that's what I've been using. They want you to pump up to like 10, 15 mil a gallon. I do a little under 10, so like if I'm mixing up a 15-gallon res, I base my estimate off of 10. So 15-gallon res is 150 mils, but I'm like, I don't really feel like using 150 mils. I'll do like 120 or 100 or whatever. So it's a little arbitrary for me. But somewhere in there, 7, 8 mil a gallon, 10 mil a gallon if you want. And Fulvic, most Fulvics have humic in them as well, but they can't put them on the label due to like California labeling and all that stuff. So humics and Fulvics are both really effective. In fact, I think they're X amount more effective as a foliar spray. So don't stop using it if you're already using it in your nutrients, but throw it in your foliar mix at a rate of you can go pretty heavy with it. You can go at least 5 mil per liter of foliar spray, and really effective stuff.
5 mil per liter, so that's 20 mil a gallon.
So when you're using it as a foliar, you wouldn't just want to spray, just RO water and Fulvic, right? You would want something else in there that the Fulvic's going to help the plant absorb that other ingredient, right?
Yeah, I don't really know why you would want to spray just Fulvic. So I just add it to my regular foliar mixture,
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. It's not like anybody should just start doing like a Fulvic foliar spray. It's something you add in as a supplement, just to benefit what you already got.
Yeah, like if you're already doing kelp, do kelp and Fulvic, or maybe mix some biocozyme in there for your, flowering. Some people say the biocozyme will limit stretch. I haven't seen that, but some people swear by it. So,
I'm about to go dump a fucking gallon of biocozyme over my tray right now.
There you go. What do the other guys think about Fulvic? So Kyle, Loki,
I put it in the super soil. So and I liked how the super soil works good and stuff. I think there might be some Fulvics in Pure Blend T, but don't quote me on that. But I'm using the Pure Blend or the Botanicare Kind lineup. So there's not an actual product in that lineup that is an actual Fulvic, but I think there is some Fulvics and stuff like that in the Pure Blend T, if I'm not mistaken. Pure Blend T, I love that stuff. Every time I add it to anything, to any regimen I ran, I've always noticed a difference in the sweetness of the taste of the bud. I'm a Botanicare fan.
Somebody's asking, they're 4 weeks into flower. They just received their Mammoth P sample or bought one. They want to know if they should start using it now or wait till their next crop. And the shit's so expensive, they just don't want to waste it. I would
wait till the next crop.
Yeah,
especially if it's a new plant you're growing, you want to see what your results are before you add something to it. If you like your results, then add it to it. Then you'll see a difference. If you add it now, you won't know what your difference would be. That's what I was going to say earlier about Mammoth P. Adding it as a new plant or something you're just growing for the first time, you're never going to know what results you're really getting from it until you do it with your regular base or your regular feeding schedule. And then do it again with Mammoth P. And
it depends on what kind of mind state you're going into it with, right? As well. I mean, if you're somebody who talks to, you know, maybe you got a friend that's been using Mammoth P and they're like, bro, this is the truth. Like, you got to use this. And so you believe that. So you're just trying to get the benefit. You're not, you know, you're not going into it with like a skeptical testing mind state where you want to see
for
if
that price you have to.
not. So maybe you want to throw it in, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you're under the belief that it's going to benefit your growth. So, you know, it's certainly not going to hurt anything to throw it in, but at the same time, I mean, if you're like me and like Loki and, you know, you maybe you want to wait till the next run and start out from the beginning with it. That way you can actually see the benefits, you know, in comparison to your previous grow. So I know Growmouse, you're getting ready to do a Mammoth P run, aren't you? Kind of testing it out.
That's correct. SoCal, have you used Mammoth P in your garden? I mean, it fits within your sort of.
No, I've been out of the game for quite a while, man. Like I've literally, I mean, I just got a harvest under my belt, and before that, it's been about 3-4 years. I mean, if you look at the jump from my YouTube channel, there's a 4-year jump between my beginning videos just recently and then my last video. So there's a lot of new stuff out. I mean, just it's crazy, man. And so when I started, I kind of started with what I knew in the super soil. And then you know, so that way I don't screw anything up. But then I also got the Botanicare kind lineup, and you know, I just been running that. So, but I'm definitely interested in it. That's why I was asking Wookiee earlier, like, you know, what's in it? I didn't even know if there was NPK in it, but I guess it's a beneficial bacteria type deal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I heard about Mammoth P on the Dude Grows podcast at first. You know, they the founders Colin and Mike came on, and they did an interview like before the product was going to be released. You know, they kind of had it in beta, made sure it didn't kill a bunch of people's gardens. So I reached out at that time and got a hold of some samples. They sent me some samples back in November of 2015. So I've been using Mammoth P now for what's that, a year and a half, or, you know, yeah, something like that, 16, 18 months. And just like Loki said, I started adding it mid-run, but I was using free samples. So I was like, okay, cool, you know, whatever. And I used it for 6 months because they gave me like a half a liter, and it lasted 6 months basically. But I didn't have any metrics. Like I had some before metrics, but I was switching lights and LEDs. So I didn't really know if it was worth it or not until I went off of it. And when I went off of it at a time when, God, I'm trying to remember which run it was, but I saw a little hit, you know, hit, maybe like a 1/4 pound out of what could have been a 5-pound harvest, but it was, you know, 4.75. And I thought, well, maybe, you know, I didn't attribute it to the Mammoth. So then I kicked off like a Mammoth P side-by-side, or I attempted to kick off a Mammoth P side-by-side. So I know people are interested in this, so I hope you guys don't mind. I'll just take maybe another minute or two to talk about it.
No, man.
Oh, right, roll with it, bro. Come on.
We're listening, man.
We're all listening.
Yeah, we're listening.
So I'll speak a little slower, just talking about the LEDs and stuff,
Yeah, so I can understand
people
you.
know. So I have my back wall of my garden is 4 feet wide by 10 feet long, and it's illuminated by some chip on board cobs. You know, the Cree, the CXB 3590s that, you know, I think everyone's pretty much becoming familiar with now. And the total wattage is 1,533 watts at the wall. So we'll just say 1,500 watts for round numbers. So that's divided 750 and 750, and the distribution is even. I used a monocrop of plants. For the most part, it was mostly cherry cream pie, with a couple other strains in there, but it was evil. It was even. Okay. I mean, it was like I was setting up for this badass controlled experiment, and Mammoth P hadn't been introduced into veg at all. It was going to be a day one flowering thing, you know, on one side with Mammoth, one side without, everything controlled, you know, as far as I could. So I get into it and I started filming, and I put in my trellis net, and I was about 12 days in, and I noticed the right-hand side that had Mammoth P was getting taller, but not just taller. It was bushier. It was noticeably bushier. And I have a video of it on my Instagram, and I showed it in a video as well. And about that time, I was like, fuck. This side that had Mammoth is looking so much more vigorous and bushy. Abort. I'm hitting the abort button. I started adding mammoth to the left-hand side because I thought, well, shit, dude. I mean, this stuff works. You know, I had been without it, and then I added it. So I go through the whole harvest. I ended up finishing out the harvest a little under 5 pounds for that whole run. The side that had mammoth P for like 12 or maybe it was 15 days ended up yielding 7 ounces more than the side that didn't have it for the first 12 days. And then I freaked out and started adding it to both sides. So it's not really a true side by side because I freaked out and bitched out basically. But it gave me a pretty important piece of data, which is if you're going to use mammoth P in like an incredibly sparing way, the first 2 to 3 weeks is the absolute most critical time to be using mammoth P. I think you should use it all the way through if you're going to use it, if you can afford to use it, because, you know, it's a phosphorus liberating bacteria, but it also made me dive deeper and do some research into how much phosphorus do our plants really need in flowering and at what time, because there's a lot of conflicting information out there. Like if you look at the Canna nutrient schedule, they have you running PK 13, 14 a very limited amount of time. Everybody else is like, blast the PK boost, man, fucking hit them. And so it just kind of made me pull back on phosphorus concentrations over the entire flowering grow. That gets into a more complicated thing. I know it's kind of a beginner thing. So if you can afford mammoth, if you have the samples, use it, try it, collect your own data. I'm not a mammoth P zealot. I'm not sponsored by mammoth. Yeah, I know it's expensive. I run out of it. And I go to the grocery store and I'm like, I look at my wallet. I'm like, yeah, I know this shit works. And I know it's gonna make me more bud. Like ROI is gonna be there. But you know, you have to have $100 or $200 in your wallet to get the ROI on using it. So in a very long-winded way, I'm gonna fire it up again, true side by side, and I'm gonna start filming next week. Mammoth is sponsoring the grow, so they're sending me the product for free, and I'll mention that in the video. But I think people by now realize that like I'm not out to try to sell products and get sponsorships and stuff. You know, I'm out for my own data and to share that information. So it will be unbiased, even though I am getting the product for free, but I'm not getting any monetary compensation.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'll definitely be watching that one. Definitely.
So you guys are gonna have to forgive me. I got a little I'm on kind of like daddy duty right now, so I got a little Ewok joining me here, but
I'll be your assistant. I'll be your assistant. I'll monitor chat.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Grow boss, go ahead and take care of chat for me, bro.
You got it.
But yeah, hey, Grow, I was curious. I don't know if you mentioned it. I kind of got up for a second during your spiel, but did you mention how much milliliters per gallon you were using of mammoth when you saw that time you were talking about?
I like easy math, so I just go with 1 milliliter of mammoth P per gallon in cocoa. And even though it's 0.6 in hydro, I just do 0.5 plus a little extra for easy math.
Word. Yeah, I was looking at my samples that they sent me, and I was looking at their feed charts, and they're talking about, you know, they got that soil/cocoa feed chart. I got it right here in front of me, and then they got the hydro feed chart. You know, and I've been flood and drain cocoa, so I didn't really know which one, you know, to go with. So I did some math and figured out how much I need to make it through the whole cycle with my 40-gallon res, and I'm just gonna go with the hydro feed chart and see how it works.
Well, it might be a little more economical for you to go with 1 milliliter per gallon of solution and do a top feeding about twice a week, and then you don't have to dose up the whole res because you are in cocoa in an ebb and flow situation. So it's kind of a hybrid system, right? The cocoa is going to stay moist, and so you can inoculate from the top, and you could just make like a 2-gallon. You can make 2 gallons at a time, and hell, do a little top feeding every day if you wanted. So there's a lot of strategies.
So if you're using mammoth P, do you stop using other beneficials? Does that like take the place of like your teas and your other beneficials because you don't want beneficials fighting and stuff? You know, different strains. Is that how that works, or?
If you're already using other beneficials like Recharge, or you're getting beneficials from compost teas or EM or something like that, you would continue that. You would change nothing. You would just add the mammoth P. But what you would do is you would, if it's your first time using it, in a bottled situation, like where you're mixing up from bottles, you would drop your ppm by about 200 ppm and see how it affects the plants. I just don't have the experience in like a no-till or a super soil situation to really recommend. I'd probably just go a little lighter. But to answer your question, Mammoth P is a very it fits in a niche that no one else is in and no one's competing. It's a you'd have to go back to the Dude Grows website, and there's a full interview with Mike or Colin, I forget which one. It's about 45 minutes, and they tell you how the product works. But basically, they found 3 different bacteria that the sum of the 3 bacteria put together are greater than the sum of their individual parts. It's like an entourage effect. When these 3 strains are put together, the phosphorus and micronutrient liberation is higher than each individual bacteria. So, and they live on a special agar made from like an alfalfa extract. So, my understanding is that they don't compete with things like bacillus, things like trichoderma, things that are in recharge, and it performs a completely different function. So when people say Mammoth P versus recharge, Mammoth P versus what's that stinky one that smells like eggs? You know, fudge. I just bought a bottle. Anyway, it does something different, so you can use it with other bacterial products. Sorry, I feel very long-winded tonight. It was not my intention to come on here and take over the stream, but
no, that's okay. I wanted to hear about that about the Mammoth P, and you got a lot of info on that, so that's cool to hear. I use a product called HydroGuard. I don't know if you heard of that from Botanicare, and it's because I'm in cocoa also, so I'm not using all kinds of teas and stuff like that. I'm keeping it somewhat sterile, you know. So I use the HydroGuard and then also the Rhizoblast, I want to call it. And that's a hormone. And man, the difference with not using the Rhizoblast, it's ridiculous. I mean, you get smaller stalks, smaller leaves. So yeah, I mean, it's not the same type of it's not an organic strain of bacteria, but it is a strain that eats organic matter. So it's more of a sterile, like it doesn't clump up, like a beneficial bacteria would inside of a tea and stuff like that. There's no particles floating in it. It wouldn't clog a pump. You wouldn't even need a filter for it. So, but if you have your nutrient, your reservoir going and you don't use it, you do notice a little bit of slime and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of curious if that Mammoth P does the same thing. Is it kind of like a root medium cleaner as well? Kind of like cleans stuff out, bad bacteria and stuff like that.
No, Mammoth is all it's doing is it's taking various forms of like phosphate, like PO4 minus is so reactive, right? And it's in. No, Mammoth is all it's doing is it's taking.
Sorry.
Oh God, is that how I sound?
I'm actually just trying to jump in the chat.
What it does, it liberates phosphorus from complex compounds that the plant could not otherwise utilize, and that other bacterial species or other bacterial genera like trichoderma and bacillus do not have the ability to break up. Very complex bonds between phosphate and phosphorus, and that's what it does. And who was it? Nico's Garden Reserve. Thank you very much. Photosynthesis Plus. So there's some dudes out there that are like, F Mammoth P. I use Photosynthesis Plus and get the same results. So the side-by-side that I'm going to do is going to be 3 control plants that will receive no bacterial products, no inoculation. It'll just be sterile. And I'll run a little bit of like hydrogen peroxide or something like that just to make sure, it's sterile. 6 plants will be Photosynthesis Plus and 6 plants will be Mammoth P. So that it would just get a little more data that way. And and then I'll do the metrics like how much per milliliter and all, all that stuff. So it'll be cool. It'll be really data driven. I'll keep it like silver bullet answeries. So by the end you can say, hey, should I buy this crap or not?
Yeah, I mean, you get an extra 7 ounces. I mean, I'll buy it.
Right on.
All right, I think we can probably put the Mammoth P to bed for now. That's some good info though. One last. Oh no, let's see here. Okay, no, I saw somebody ask in chat they heard a baby cry. Yeah, I got an Ewok here with me, so I apologize, but we're just on. This is just supposed to be a kickback. You know what I'm saying? We're not like this is the Saturday night grow stream, so I apologize if you guys hear her crying in the background or kind of talking, but I'll try to mute my mic. I see bunch of people asking. I see Terpinator. Who's used Terpinator? Anybody?
My buddy's
Nope.
used it. He said he noticed a little bit of a percentage jump up in his lab reports, but nothing substantial. So, I mean, so I guess for him, he's ran it a few times. It does work a little bit. So, they can always make that claim that it does work. So I just don't know how much it ups it. He just said a few percentages for him.
I've never used Terpinator. I've seen it on the shelves. I've seen a couple people run it on YouTube and stuff. I think you use it, don't you, Grow Mouse? But yeah, I've never used it. So I really have no comment.
Yeah, but I don't have any data or testing data or anything, so it's just kind of like makes me feel good.
Did your plants smell extra dank?
No, but the bottle has a skull, and the skull is oozing on the front, and it's a black bottle, and it just looks badass. So I bought it and I put it.
That's what most people do. They like the way the bottle looks.
I'm gonna dump so much data on you guys once we get up and running with this extraction chemist guy that I'm working with, but I just don't have any testing data right now.
Blow a fat data load on the YouTube.
One thing that I saw Frigroli on talk about was how he used. I'm not sure if it was Terpinator or not, but he used something different, and he got 2 different lab printouts. He got a lab printout for what he used, and then a lab printout for the one he didn't use it on. And what he used changed the whole entire terp profile. There was terps in there that wasn't in there before, and
no, it didn't change. You talking about Envy?
No, Frigroli.
Yeah, Frigroli's. Sorry, Frigroli's on the hunt for the terps, man. I've heard him talk about it a few times, and he's trying to find. They're working on trying to get their terpene percentage up as high as possible. So definitely check out his channel for something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if it was Terpinator. I think it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not for sure, but he said it was something. But there was, with what he used, there was terps in there that wasn't in the other plant at all. So using different things can add.
Yeah, that's what he said. There were different terpenes that were in different plants, but it didn't mean that the other plant was lacking. They just were different.
Yeah, absolutely. Just added it. It brought out different terps. So I mean, it just kind of goes to show that depending on what you use, whether it's molasses or different sweeteners, it's going to bring out different terps.
Correct.
There's that other product on the market called Terpenese. It's a little more expensive than Terpinator, but it seems like it has a different profile of extracts. Like it smells a little bit more like a evergreen tree. Like it smells like Christmas, kind of. Whereas Terpinator has that kind of like just like synthetic-y, almost sweet smell. So I've got both. I'm going to try the Terpenese and just see. But, if you're just judging by your nose or your eye, it's really hard to prove if those products work without testing data like Frigroli was doing,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he held it up to the camera. I mean, he was showing the terp profiles and stuff. And yeah, I just can't remember what product that he was talking about.
We ran rock resonator and terpinator through this mass spectrometer that my buddy has, but we don't know how to interpret the graph. We don't know what like with cannabis, we know where the markers for THC, AR, CBD, CBDG, like we know where all those markers are because like hundreds of people have posted, but with rock resonator and terpinator, we don't know specifically like what we're looking for. So
that's actually the only additive I use. The rock resonator.
Oh, you use that one?
Yeah. So all through, I don't use anything but my regular AB and CalMag, and then I use rock when I'm going through bloom.
Rock resonator does something special, it like I think
turns them into rocks.
Turns them into rocks, but I think it like kind of dehydrates. That might not be a good word to use, but there's an interview with the rock guys talking about how it works. But when people would see it in my videos, everyone started hating on me because it's on like Washington State's, known substances that have something bad in them that you shouldn't put on your cannabis. So I don't want to be putting bud out there that's going to hurt someone, but I've never had any problems from it. Mostly I just don't want to be hassled. So I dropped it and just picked up I just dropped it so people would stop leaving hateful comments. Not hateful. They're just trying to educate me on where the product is. in the market.
Yeah, same thing when I was using Spinosad. I got people telling me I just recently put a video out of the 3 things I used, and I think it's on the list for Oregon to not be used if I'm right. So I just put it to the side. I don't have bugs anyway, so I figured why not, stop using it. I'm just using the neem oil and the neem extract.
Hey, McConaughey, I see your comment, but I think we're gonna kind of stray away from the real technical, in-depth LED consultations on this stream. But keep an eye on GrowMouse's channel. We did that yesterday. That would have been a perfect time to ask that question, and maybe possibly next Saturday, maybe the Saturday after GrowMouse.
Yeah, McConaughey, why don't you just come on my stream with me and whoever else can make it, Wookiee?
Yep.
SoCal, I'd love to have you on sometime. You said you wanted to learn about LEDs. Maybe we could do a different type of stream where like you are our noob and we just we go trust tree. We won't judge you. You just ask anything like, what does an LED stand for? Whatever.
I don't mind. Honestly, I don't feel bad. I don't mind being the dumb one as far as LED goes because I seriously don't even know the names of the components. So I'm at least going to do you the favor of at least getting the names of some components and stuff and maybe some printouts so I at least know when you're saying something I can refer to some shit. I'm not just completely dumb.
So there we go. We got McConaughey and we got SoCal for next weekend.
Yeah, and McConaughey, I'll answer the question tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon in our little private chat.
Word. Somebody's asking if we can discuss EC schedule for hydro or soilless mediums. I think that depends on what kind of nutrients you're using. Something if you're using like I know people that use Canna. I see a lot of people using Canna and flour, maybe around 1.7 EC. But it can just go different ways. I mean, for example, what I'm using, Jack's Hydroponics, I'm up more around 2.0 EC or 1,000 ppm. So it just depends. Anybody have any comments?
Botanicare kind, you can't go by ppms too much because there's a lot of organic matter that's constantly breaking down. But what you can do is you can mix it into a bucket and leave like the pure blend tea out and stuff like that, and then check your ppms. But I don't go by EC. I gave Botanicare the benefit of the doubt and just grew off of their chart, and I grew fucking monsters my last grow, and I'm not even done putting that video out.
I mean he's talking for hydro, so yeah. I mean, in hydro, you definitely have to pay attention to your EC. You know what I'm saying? Because as the plants, as your res floods the tray, for example, in flood and drain, the plants are going to absorb water, and often, the plants drink more water than they do nutrients. So, sometimes the medium absorbs the water. So, basically, what I'm trying to say is, as you go throughout, your week, you're going to check your res and the ppms are going to rise.
Not always.
Not always, but it does happen.
I don't let that happen much.
Kind of depends on how long you let it sit there. I mean, if you're watering every day, then you're not going to get too much rise.
I change my water every 10 days, and my water level and my ppms pretty much go hand in hand. When my water level goes down, my ppm goes down. I don't top up. Some people, they let the RO just refill while it's... Go ahead.
And I noticed the same thing. I like what you're saying right now. It depends, I think, on the what growth stage you're into, like what week in flower, kind of where you're at. Like right now, for example, where I'm at, I checked my res last night, and when I top up or when I do a fresh change, I sit right at usually 1,040 ppms. And when I checked last night, it was up around 1,150, and that's just because they absorb more water than they did nutrients, I guess. So
if you lowered your ppms, you would see that it will go down evenly, because that means that there's something in your mix that the plants don't want, so they're leaving it behind.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, but what all I'm trying to get at here, all I'm getting at here is when SoCal was talking about, when SoCal was talking about not checking your ppms and stuff like that, all I was getting at is that in hydro, it's necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because things can change. You definitely want to monitor that, because when I check my res and it's at 1,150, 1,200 ppms, I got to correct that. So.
Yeah, I guess when you say hydro, I think like cocoa is, top feeding cocoa is considered that too. But when you're not holding, a big reservoir, then I guess it's a little bit different.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, if you're like top feeding and or even if you're in like a dripper and you got a big reservoir that you're just adding your nutrients to beforehand, I mean, the likelihood that your ppms are going to change are not as high.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have any comment on this, Grandma?
No, you guys answered it perfectly.
Word.
Look at us go.
I got approval from Sensei.
Sensei Mouse.
Daniel-san. Okay.
I'm gonna do a video series or something of all my fuck ups. And all the stupid stuff I do, so you guys.
Did you watch the Track Up Chaser stream last night?
Yeah, we had a blooper talk, man.
Oh, you gotta fast forward to like.
Yeah, I was listening. I was dying.
I want to go in and mark it. I was gonna kind of go in and like mark times when fast forward to this time for this and that and that. But there's a time in there where we went down the panel down the line and we're just doing like grow room bloopers. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Vader started talking first about about a fire he had. SoCal's talking about a fucking big ass sticky trap full of gnats slapping and sticking to the side of his face. Yeah, it was good, man. It was dope.
I'm only 40. When I was texting you this morning, I was only about 47 minutes. I only got 47 minutes in, and then I got distracted with the project.
No problem. I was just you gotta fast forward a little bit. It's pretty dope.
Okay, I'll check it out for sure.
That's pretty fun.
Give us one though, bro. Come on.
Yeah, we gotta get one from you and Loki.
I know Growmouse got some good ones. He probably almost chopped his head off 10 times on that fan he's got hanging in his room.
You want to hear one from yesterday?
Yeah. That's
okay. Okay. So I have this grow tent next to my sofa because my veg space, my nursery space is full. And Ocean Grown's been hooking me up, but I still buy their seeds. So like Vader sent me a pack of Malibu. And I bought a pack of Bewitched and a pack of Alien Rift right on the website, like the rest of you guys, and I was waitlisted for the Rift for a month. So I get the seeds and everything like that. And I set up this little 2x4 tent that I bought used, and the seeds are doing great and everything, but they're starting to get to the point where they need more airflow. And there's so many of them, there's like 30 of them in there. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to pimp this tent out today. So I wake up, and I go to Lowe's and I get all the stuff, and I get this rack that I measured out that I thought would fit inside the tent because I was going to make different shelves and use the vertical space. And I bought this little reservoir and all this good stuff, right? So I'm building this rack and I'm like painting it and I'm lining it with Panda film and I'm filming, and I'm thinking about what song I'm going to use to put on Instagram, to put on YouTube, and just like this pimped out, dope ass, grow tent, and I get ready to take the tent apart, and I end up ripping the freaking tent. And the thing that I built doesn't fit in the tent. It's like an inch too big, and I'm like stretching the zipper. I'm like, come on, it's gotta work. I end up ripping the zipper, ripping the tent, and the freaking $150 that I spent to pimp this thing out is now pretty much just a storage rack. So they don't all make the final cut, baby. They don't all make. Maybe I'll release the video and at the end just be like, fail.
Slap the fucking the GTA fucking dead or what?
Yeah, dude. Back to the drawing board.
Word. Yeah, we all saw what happened in my tent with the storage racks. I think it's time to retire storage racks from the grow room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was crazy. You didn't post your disaster though, bro. You just took a picture of it.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a reason for that, and it's not because I didn't want to show it. It was because
when it's happening, it's too frantic. I know.
Well, no, yeah, I'm saying I came home and I'm like, because when the stand collapsed, it didn't drop all the way to the floor. It was like halfway fucking tilted and like leaning over, and the plants were fine still. And I'm like, oh fuck, but I had 20 gallons of water on the floor, and I have carpet in my grow room, so it's like, oh shit, this is not good. But anyway, so it's sitting there half cocked, fucking laying down. I told my wife, I'm like, fuck, I need your help. You know what I'm saying? You got to come help me. Just like hold this thing up while I fucking get in here and fix this stand and get these legs back in. So and it's still got, okay, so there's probably 10 gallons of water on the floor, 10 gallons of water in the tray still. And it's like, it's not draining back into the res because it's tilted the other way. So I get in there and it's this plastic legs, dude. It's plastic storage shelf. And I get in there and I lay down and I'm underneath the tray And I'm like leaning back and I'm trying to get these legs back in. And I guess my wife, you know, and me underestimated how much 10 gallons of water in that tray weighs. And as I fucking like got the leg to go and I was going to put it back in, the whole fucking tray said, boom, fell right on top of me. And 10 gallons of water on me. And I mean,
80 pounds.
Yeah,
I mean, if the camera was rolling, it would have been great content for YouTube. But you know, I didn't have I wasn't thinking about filming it. I was just thinking about, fuck, I gotta save these plants. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't fucking. Oh man, it was bad. It was really bad. And then to top it all off, you know, I lost everything. But fuck it. Oh well.
Come back stronger.
Come back way fucking stronger.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But it makes for a good story. I was telling them last night, Grow Mouse, I fucking my first grow I ever did. I was living in an apartment with a friend of mine, and she kicked me out halfway through the fucking grow, like 5 weeks into flower, man. It was her apartment, and I'm like,
the plants can stay, but you get out.
Yeah, no, she's like, you gotta go, you gotta get the fuck out of here. And I think growing had something to do with it. She kind of got pissed off with that and some other things, and she's like, get the fuck out. So I'm like, all right, fuck you, bitch. I'll go somewhere else and live with somebody else. I called my homie. He's like, yeah, come over here, bro. But I didn't have a car or anything. So it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm walking down the street with a fucking one of those laundry baskets full of fucking, like, you know, 5-week-old plants with a fucking towel over them. And I'm just fucking smashing it through town to get to his house, man. I made it.
Oh my gosh. Sounds like you could have used that harvest too. No car. Your home.
No, we
harvest the first homeless grow room. Oh my god.
It's all in his car.
we made it, bro. It was a successful harvest. It was just fucking, we had to throw an audible and fucking strike it across town with fucking 5 plants.
Wow.
Can I ask a question to the chat? Rad Med Grower 420, shout out, dude. Unfortunately, I did not get your Instagram until we were live for 30 minutes on the roundtable, so I'll give you a shout out next week. I put a bunch of files, like all my shit's open source, you know, so anybody can build the stuff I build. Up until like 2-3 months ago, GrabCAD shut me down, and they pulled a bunch of my files off, saying, I don't know, they're just being jerks or whatever. But so I have nowhere to put my CAD. Rad Med Grower is saying archive.org is a good place where I can host like DXF, IPES, you know, like AutoCAD files, stuff like that. Is that a good recommendation? I've never heard of that, and I'm not second guessing you, Rad Med Grower. But I need somewhere to host my my CAD files so that people can just like log in and get them, because I certainly don't want to use Dropbox and like have people in the internet like interfacing with my desktop. That just scares me, man.
Who knows what's on your desktop?
It's all nerd stuff. It's nothing like, there's no porn or anything.
It's in a different file, huh?
Who don't got no porn?
I can't watch
it's on the desktop.
Shit.
You're just talking about on the desktop. You don't watch mouse porn or nothing?
I can't because the production value is so low. I'm like, I watch it and I'm not even watching the sex part. I'm watching the camera and the photography and being like, oh man, see, I would have gone for a pan there. Mouse. I would have pushed in a little. Yeah,
he's always needs a bit more LED lighting hitting the.
Yeah. Oh, the lighting's horrible, man. The lighting is so bad.
They got 4K now.
Yeah, I'd use a 4K, but you know they're not even using like 93 CRI lighting. It's so annoying.
Oh shit, that's funny. Yeah, my brother's. Well, I don't even get into that, dude. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, I know somebody who kind of saw movies and different shows and stuff like that. Like, I can't watch them anymore because I knew how they, you know, the different scenes and stuff worked. Like, well, that sucks. Movies suck for you.
I'm sorry for taking us down this road. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sea Mouse, look what you do. I think Wookiee's muted himself over there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what I missed, but it sounds like it's a good thing I missed it. So
archive.org looks pretty legit. It looks like they can handle just about any file, so that's dope. Thank you, Radmed.
Hey, you didn't miss nothing. We stayed on topic. Don't worry. You're perfectly online.
Oh, is this the part where I'm supposed to be co-producing the show? Am I supposed to be the assistant? Any chat room, give us your questions. We'll answer anything you want. And if we
we're coming up on like an hour and a half right now. We probably won't keep it going for much longer. I wanted to keep it, kind of short and sweet, but we'll go for another 15 minutes or so. So last call for chat, man. You guys want to get anything answered? Start throwing it in right now. We could kind of fire through some questions. You know what I'm saying? No silly questions here. We'll answer whatever you guys need help with.
We're shutting down the stream. I just made an Instagram post and a whopping 6 people, 7 people came from Instagram. Yeah.
That's just for now. I'll get more.
Hey, if you guys want to keep it rolling, man, it's up to you guys. I just didn't know, it's Sunday night. I didn't know if anybody really wanted to. I don't want you guys to feel like you had to stick around or anything.
Yeah, I gotta go pretty soon. I can stay for a while longer. I'm so tired. You guys caught me on it too. I just wanted to miss the chance to be on the stream today. So
I don't got no work tomorrow or the next day.
I'm off tomorrow too, so fuck it, man. We can keep rolling if you guys want to. Wait for the Grow Mouse Instagram bump. I just want to get some. I'm not seeing too many. You know what I'm saying? I kind of wanted to keep it on a basic, new question or new grower question topics. But I mean, that's what this is. We're testing the waters, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of it. So, people want to know. People want to get technical, and that's kind of the crowd we have. So, I mean, we'll just roll with it.
Sometimes on a live stream, like I'll say something and then I forget that, because you see like, oh, there's 70 people now, there's 80 people, but people can be sifting in and out. So do you want to like restate the premise of the stream for the new people that are kind of just joining?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So basically what we're doing here, guys, this is, it's a new growers, kind of live stream and AMA. So any questions you guys have, we're here to answer them, whether, there's no stupid questions, anything down to, just, how many times a day you water, anything. I mean, or we can get more technical too. We were talking about Mammoth P a little bit ago. We're not going to read your names and your questions. So whatever, question you have, your name won't be ingrained with it in YouTube for eternity. So you don't have to be embarrassed.
You should ask them if they want to say their name. Because
if you want to know their name. I'm gonna assume right off the bat that you don't want your name said. If you want your name said, then say, use my name and we'll do it. But if you don't say that, then we're gonna go ahead and not use your name. And we'll fire through some questions here. And
if it seems like a really newbie question, like we'll know and we won't say your name, right? Like if it seems like, I don't know.
Okay.
I got a
somebody's
question.
asking me if I'm still running Jax. I am. Jax 321. I don't know if I should break into how to. I'm actually going to make a video. I'm not going to, because I'm going to make a video on Jax 321 and Flood and Drain. I know there's videos out there, like Green Jeans has a video on how to do Jax 321. His formula. I'm going to make one as well, just, because it's Flood and Drain and it's a little different. It's not hard, but I got questions. I'm going to put a video on it. So check for my channel for the video.
I got questions, Wookiee.
What's up, buddy?
So I tried Jax and I'm lazy. So mixing it up, it takes too much time. So what I did, I went and got a kettle and I made the water really, really hot. And then I would pour it in with the mix up about a gallon and then pour it into my res. Is that...
Yeah. You can do that. I mean, that's going to raise the temperature in your res. I know in DWC.
No, I go back and I'm talking about this was in my flood and drain.
Oh yeah, okay. So you can do that. I mean, it definitely dissolves faster in warmer water, and that will make it easier for you. Also, what you can do is you can make. I haven't done it yet.
No, my question is.
Oh, go ahead.
My question is, with the heating up the actual nutrient, does that cause some kind of harm to the nutrient? Like,
it may, if you're going like red hot, man.
Yeah, I'm going hot.
Grow Mouse probably has a little a better idea on that, but I don't know. Yeah, red hot, real hot boiling water may affect the nutrients, and I would shy away from that. It doesn't take too long. If you dump in the Jax takes the longest to dissolve. So you start with Jax hydroponics. You gotta stir it up. It'll help it a little bit, but it's gonna take 10 minutes or so. And just kind of walk away from it, and come back and check it. But once you dump the cal nitrate in next, it has to be done separate from the Jax because it basically will kind of chunk up if you mix them at the same time. And once you dump the cal nitrate in, that shit dissolves really quick, and the magnesium sulfate dissolves quick too. So but yeah, what I was gonna say though is the other thing you can do is you can make like stock solutions, and I haven't really got into it yet because it gets a little more complicated, to where you're basically making it like a bottled newt, where you're mixing up beforehand and then you're just dumping that liquid into your reservoir, so there's no wait time for having it to mix up. But I haven't really.
I thought about doing that.
I haven't really wanted to.
Math right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's math involved, and I'm sure I could figure it out. I just haven't had the time to sit down and figure it out, and nobody's told me here's how you do it yet. So I'll either figure it out or maybe somebody can tell me how to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, so you got to figure out the ratio of water to. I think I saw a video on it. Somebody on YouTube before where they said you have to also add something to keep the nutrients stable. But I don't really think it's a great idea to store it like that. I mean, that's what the companies do.
Yeah,
It's behind it.
yeah. If you're gonna be I mean, if you're talking about like mixing up large batches and then storing it over time, there's definitely. I remember watching a video before about an additive that'll keep it preserved. I'm not sure what that additive is, but I was thinking more along the lines of like, I know I do
I know who I
oil
saw do it.
changes, once a week or once every 2 weeks. So I'll mix up, the 40-gallon, amounts into a gallon of water, and then that way I could just dump that gallon in there, But I don't know.
I think it was Vitaly at Chilled LED on how to make your own nutrients. I think that's what I saw do the video.
Yeah, there's also a guy on YouTube that he's not a cannabis grower, or maybe he is, but he doesn't make YouTube videos about cannabis. But his name's Everest Fernandez. You guys ever watched any of his videos?
Oh yeah, I've heard
Yeah,
of it.
Everest.
I've seen
He
some of
reminds
the
me.
videos.
He actually reminds me a lot of Grow Mouse. I don't know how you feel about that, Grow Mouse, but and what I mean by that, it's a
He
compliment. because
talks really fast.
His videos are so thorough, man, and they're like, I mean, he breaks shit down so well, and most of his videos are all about, or most of them are about hydroponics. He does videos about soil and other stuff too, but he does a lot of hydroponics growing, and if you want to learn about hydroponics, you type in Everest Fernandez. I think his show's called the Just for Growers. Yeah.
You can type in anything, and he's like one of the first ones to pop up.
You'll see Everest everywhere. Like
Dude, that dude.
and I think he does grow
man.
marijuana. I think he does grow marijuana.
He may. You hear his videos, and he'll be like, if you're doing flood and drain, it's very beneficial to heavy fruiting annuals. Like,
Yeah,
and
that's
he's
his
growing
voice.
some
That's
cabbage
his
or some
voice.
shit,
Yeah.
So
Right.
Just the right amount of comic relief without being like using a noise changing thing and being cheesy. Like, he does those little bits in there, but yeah. Everest is cool. He emailed me like a year ago wanting to learn about LEDs, and we've been playing. He lives overseas, so there's quite a bit of time difference, but we've been trying to get together for like a collab or something about LEDs, but
word.
we just, it's kind of hard when I'm sleeping and he's awake and vice versa. But,
Yeah.
maybe I'll get on that and touch back with him, because he's definitely high quality video maker. Really,
Dude, I dig his shit, man. I learned so much about hydroponics just from watching his videos, dude. I mean, even if you're just like, he's got a video for everything, man. You're thinking about getting a new freaking, inline fan and filter for your room. He's got a fucking video about fans and filters, exact sizes you need.
To the point.
Yeah.
It's the kind of video you can watch and you don't feel like I gotta listen to all this filler before you give me the answer I'm looking for. He gets to the point. He talks really fast.
Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, it's not that fast. He speeds him up, but he makes it in a way that anyone can understand it and absorb it. Because a lot of us, we smoke. By the time you talk for 15 minutes, I forgot what you started saying.
That's right. And they're really high quality produced videos. I mean, he does a really good job. So check him out. He's not part of the cannabis community, but if you want to learn about, just growing in general, he's got a lot of info.
For sure. But he's down with he's down with the cause, though. Like, I'm not saying he smokes or anything or whatever, but he specifically doesn't grow plants in his videos, but he's down with the cause, if you know.
Word. I kind of figured. And and if he's collabing with Grow Mouse, he's good in my book. I don't care what he grows.
On the stock solution thing, water is a solvent, and temperature can be a catalyst. I wouldn't boil raw nutrients or use hot water. I just wouldn't under high strength powders like a Jax or like a Veg Bloom or something like that. Things just combine too easily.
Yeah, so I thought it was a horrible idea. That's why I mentioned it. I didn't think that it was a good idea in any way.
I'm just saying the hot water, right? But like, making a stock solution is fine if you use a large enough volume of water. But yeah, you got to do the math. I wish I could tell you how, but when I went, it
would be dope to have like, I mean, I'll take a freaking old bottle of Canna and fill it up with Jax and be able to just do the 100 milliliters, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But yeah, like you said, too much math. I'd rather just wait 10 minutes for my shit to dissolve.
Yeah, Veg Plus Bloom, they have a recipe for a stock solution using their base product, and it's just a 1 part. So,
Yeah, definitely. If the company's giving you a stock solution, I think that's pretty dope. You know, a recipe for it. Jax,
right.
I don't think Jax does that, but they may. Check their website.
Engineer was asking about Arduino and Raspberry Pi. I have some experience with it. I'm pretty good on the breadboarding and hardware side, buddy, but you know, I haven't really been able to pull off the kind of sketch for the kind of cool. I've been able to copy other people's, you know, sketches. Sketch is just another word for the programming, but I wish I could offer you more, man. I just saw the question a couple times. I just want to make sure I answered it. And I've heard of Yield Buddy. Data logging's cool, you know, but I've never bought one.
I just want to welcome GML. Grandmaster Level just popped in.
What's up,
What's
Gmail?
going on, buddy?
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Hey, man.
Good, man. Good.
What's going on?
Glad you made it.
Yeah, I just was outside working, so I was just catching my breath. It's fucking sweating. How did that work out for you yesterday, Gromas, with your plants?
They perked up. The one in the back is pretty pissed off. I was going to take clones this morning, but you know, I'm not going to clone a plant that's like all stressed out and then, you know, have that clone be stressed out. So they're in recovery. So I took the day kind of off today, man. Just kind of screwed around. It was great. I didn't like look on Instagram. I didn't check in with YouTube. I just like kind of kept the computer off most of the day and then just chilled. It was cool. But the plants are good. Thanks for asking. How are you?
No worries. Yeah, yesterday when you said how you don't watch cable and you just watch YouTube, I was thinking, damn, I was thinking the exact same thing, man. Like so many people are live streaming and so many channels.
Yeah, and you can be entertained and then accidentally learn something or on purpose learn something at the same time instead of just getting your brain rotted out from Dharma and Greg.
Yeah, exactly.
Why was that what I went to?
I don't know. But I tell you what, the only thing I do watch on cable TV is The Walking Dead, which is on tonight, and that's going down.
I watched Shark Tank. That's kind of what inspired me to open my 2 businesses that I run a long time ago. And yeah, I've watched it ever since. I love Shark Tank.
I watch everything.
Yeah.
Nice. I like Game of Thrones.
I love Game of Thrones.
Oh, the first 48 too.
I mean,
you gotta watch that. Come on.
Anything sci-fi. They have a new first 48 too. Not first 48. 24 hours, some shit like that. I don't know. I'm into torrents. So
Oh yeah,
you're talking about the new 24. Yeah,
with
they have a new
Dr.
one.
Dre.
Yeah. Somebody.
Legion is good. Legion's worth watching. That's the only show I really have on my DVR.
I tried to watch Legion. I couldn't. Like I watched episode 3. Maybe I got to start from 1.
That's generally a pretty good place to start, Loki.
you know what it is? Sometimes I'll see it and I'll just throw on whichever episode I see just to see if it's my kind of show. And it kind of it was more like I can't remember this other show, but it was a little too creepy for me.
Sometimes
Hey,
you gotta
somebody in
skip
the
the first
chat
couple
just said,
episodes.
somebody in the chat just mentioned Weeds. Have any of you guys ever watched Weeds?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
of course.
If you want some comic relief, man, watch like season 2, season 3 when they start growing. You'll get a good kick out of it.
And then stop watching. Season 1, 2, 3, and you're good. Then it
gets crazy.
Yeah, it goes a little off.
Do you guys watch any of like the YouTube TV shows?
Mm-mm.
Oh no, I haven't seen any of that yet.
I watched this one show that's like it's a local show to my neighborhood, and it's just like it's a good show. You ever watch
Let's say, bro, you're on one right now, dude.
Yeah, but it's like it's not like this. It's they shoot it like a TV show, so they have episodes, and it's like it's cool.
Yeah, we got
YouTube
those.
is doing a lot.
I'm just messing with you, Lucky.
It's us talking, bro. We're not actually going out and killing people.
Tell him, Loki. Fucking bully, Wookiee.
What's going on in chat?
I'm just messing with you. Yeah, what's going on in chat? Let's see what you got any questions? I haven't seen anything. Kind of scroll through. Nobody's been tagging me at least. Let's see what we got here. And there goes my screaming daughter again. I apologize.
That's okay. How's your daughter, man?
She's a baby.
She's a baby.
Cool. I thought so. I kind of figured she was a baby. Appreciate
He's
it.
all 13. Oh man.
No, she's just 7 months old, man. She's a little girl. Let's see here.
A lot of people are talking about digging on Weeds, and Weeds was cool, you know, because it was kind of a show for us, you know, and there's just not enough of those. Like, I end up watching weed shows, especially grow type of shows on TV. I ended up watching them like 3 or 4 times, you know, like the Pot Cops, which is fucking stupid, but you know, the what's that one in Breckenridge? That one where they're trying to get their license up, that young couple. I forget what it's called.
Oh, you're talking about in Colorado? They were a medical, and then they were going wreck or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I can't wait till chat catches up. They're gonna let me know. It was on like CBC. It was on like CNN or some shit. I mean, it was like on a network you wouldn't. It wasn't on Vice, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I watched it. I think it was CNN.
I can't wait for there just to be more grow shows. You know, like Snoop and Martha Stewart. They have their their show cooking potluck. High Profits. Yeah, High Profits was dope, dude. Hadn't it been a year?
I didn't realize till like maybe a month ago or something that Vice has a TV. I mean, I used to watch Vice shit on YouTube all the time.
I was going to tell you,
Vice TV station now.
They got this show on Vice called Wookiee.
Yeah, dude.
I was just about to tell you about that. That show is really cool.
I don't know, man. They got a sick fucking. I mean, I like watching multiple shows, not even just like weed related shit. They got all kinds of good stuff on Vice, man.
Yeah.
I mean, especially I watch all kinds. I like when they get into like you see their like documentaries on YouTube where they're like going in depth with, you know, like ISIS or, you know, some crazy ass shit where they got send some dude to fucking, you know, some country, and I don't know, man. They got dope shit on their channel.
Vice,
I like it.
Vice covers counterculture, regardless of what that is. And, you know, their stuff super popular on YouTube. All their HBO specials that got picked up, super popular. And so many people are interested in counterculture that they had the funding or the investment or whatever to start their own network on, you know, national television. If that tells you anything, we just need more. You know, we need more of that kind of coverage, especially growing weed coverage on TV.
You guys watch the Action Bronson show?
I know he is though. I see him on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, he's got that show on Vice called "Fuck That's Delicious," and he's just going around the world eating good food and smoking.
Oh, the rapper chef. He's a rapper and a chef.
Yeah.
Yeah. His music is actually pretty good too.
Nice.
Okay, I actually have someone that's sending me a message saying they're trying to ask questions in the chat and not getting a response. I'm asking them what's the question, but they're not telling me what their question is.
Okay, there's a question here. It scrolled by and I meant to read it. Let's see here. Okay, you said you could say my name. Okay, the uni grower saying, I'm starting my first grow soon. I currently have autoflower seeds, but do you think photo period seeds are more beginner friendly? That's a great fucking question. I'm sorry I missed that, uni grower. I really apologize for that. That's a great question. Who wants to start on that one?
I recently had somebody talk to me about autoflowers. They were having a bit of an issue with their autoflower. They had it flowering since December, and it's already in March, and you can see little tiny buds on it. So I did a little bit of research looking it up, and I found out that some strains that are autoflowers, they'll be just about done with their bloom cycle, and they'll just have little buds on them. So you got to make sure that you know which autoflower that you're actually getting.
Yeah, so autoflowers they're a cross basically with they're ruderalis. It's a cannabis ruderalis. So you can put them under 24 hours of light. They bud automatically. There's no photo period requirement, so you can
from the bloom time. It's usually like 2.5 months or so.
Yeah, so they start. The thing about here's the thing about autoflowers, and I'm going to try to break your question down because it's a great question and it's what we're looking for on this stream, and I appreciate you asking it. So let's break it down together. So the thing about autoflowers is when you plant an autoflower seed, which I've never grown any, but you want to plant them directly into their final pot, from what I've been told, because you don't want to have to transplant an autoflower, because once you start growing it, it's like your day one in flower. I mean, you don't know when they're going to start budding. They bud automatically. So that, as far as a beginner thing going, I think it just depends on exactly what you mean. I mean, is it beginner friendly? Sure. I mean, it's just like growing cannabis regularly, except for there's no photo period requirements. So you can do it. I think what it's great for is for, the college dorm room, or, the guy in in the UK that lives in an apartment with just a little balcony that he only can grow on, or, just somebody that has a really tight limited space. You can throw a ruderalis in there or autoflower in there, and it'll bud automatically. You can keep it really squat and really short. A lot of them just look like one solid bud coming out of the soil. Whoop, but my mic stand.
No,
But
I have an autoflower growing.
You got one growing, Loki?
I always throw autoflower in my bedroom. I just try to give everyone a chance to answer, but I don't really. I keep an autoflower in the corner in my bedroom every grow, really. And
okay, so with your experience, what's more beginner friendly? Is it the autos or regular photo period plant?
I think autos are really easy. Like, there's nothing to do to them. They even when my other plants go through shock, my autoflower, it just fights through. What I don't like about the autoflower is when you find something that's really, really nice, you can't clone it.
Yeah, that's true. You can't clone them. Or maybe you can, but you can't really re-veg an auto. I mean, because that's the thing. When you take a clone, it's in flower already. So
how do you re-veg it?
You can't re-veg it. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I've never seen anybody try. I've always heard you can't.
You can't. But, so my autoflower stays on 18 hours light. If I wanted to re-veg it, how much light would I give it?
There's no re-vegging anyways, because there's no veg.
It has a life cycle, and that's it.
Right. You got a plant that grows from day one, and they grow fast too. What are they, from start to finish? You're looking at what, like 60 days or something?
It depends. So I have one that I've been growing since November, and it hasn't finished yet. And I have one that I started the same day as that, and I'm already smoking it.
Word.
Yeah, it depends on the strain.
You ever grown any autos, Grandmaster?
Not for a long time. The last time I actually was growing them, they were shit, like not very good ones, and it was a long time ago, so I think they've come a long way since then. But my answer is, I think if you can control your light cycle, like, and you have it in a room where you're controlling the light cycle, I think that's probably pretty pretty friendly both ways. I don't know, like if you don't have a controlled light, then an autoflower might be the move, I guess.
Yeah, so that's one thing worth mentioning, is that with an autoflower, it's not going to be a big yield. It's not going to be a big yielder. It's not going to a lot of the popular opinion is that the bud is not going to be as good as a photo period plant. As far as being big, what's that?
I don't mean to correct you, bro, but you're wrong.
Come on. Oh, I'm wrong. Correct me. No, please correct me.
So I'm getting a quarter pound off of my autoflower. It all depends on how you grow it. You don't want to stress it because the autoflower can't handle stress, but it's going to grow just like another plant is going to grow. So you might have some low yielding plants, and then you have big yielding plants. All depends on how you grow it. I top my autoflower. People say they don't, but I top my autoflower. I train them. I do the same things that I do to my regular plants. I just leave them with more light than my regular plants. And I start feeding them flower formula from the beginning.
It also sounds like it would be ideal for places that get really cold early and don't have a growing season, if they don't have like a tarping system that forces the plants into bud also, right? In areas where it gets really cold and they don't have the best weather, like autoflowers kind of seems ideal outside, don't you guys think?
I think, yeah, they're great anywhere because they don't have a light cycle. They're going to go on their time cycle.
Exactly. And some areas that don't have good growing conditions, right?
Yeah.
Some people that get set early, like they have a really short cycle.
Yeah, in the Caribbean, they do a lot of autoflower.
Yeah, that's why I was telling this lady that was asking me the question about the autoflower, that, you know, if you don't know what strain, like if you have a plant that's not an autoflower and you have a plant that's an autoflower and you don't know the genetics of them, you know, I would definitely pick the non-autoflower, because you know that it's going to have a 60-day flower period around there, you know, and the autoflower, you just, you know, you sometimes don't really know as much.
I'm talking about for outdoor also, not indoor.
Yeah, outdoor. Yeah, a lot of people do autoflower outdoor.
Like in England, do they have good growing conditions, like out there? Does anybody in the chat or anybody know?
I don't imagine that they're great. I mean, I know it's always cloudy and rainy over there, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. So if they have a short cycle where they're getting nice weather, it would seem like for outside, at least it's pretty cool compared to having to wait till the plant is ready to go to bud. But yeah.
So let's kind of bring it back to the question, and let's kind of come to a consensus here. I know Grow Mouse is lurking in the background. He's got something he wants to say, but let's the question is he's a beginner grower. He's getting ready to get fired up. Should he go with autos or should he go with photo period?
I vote photo.
Yeah, me too, just because I don't know much about autos.
I would go photo. Autos are great when you just have extra space in the veg room, but you want something that if you find something you really like, you want to keep going with it. And I don't know, autos is just a one-time use and then throw away, so they're kind of more expensive because you got to keep buying seeds.
I'm gonna go the same thing. Assuming that you have the space for photos or autos. I'm gonna say the better choice would be a photo period plant.
Yeah, I mean, if your decision, if you have limitations and your decision is not to grow or to grow because you only have the space for an autoflower, I'd say grow an autoflower. Otherwise, I think they're cool. I think it's fun as a hobby, but this is more than a hobby for me. You know, it's a hobby and it's a business and it's a passion, even though it's just in a bedroom. And financially and time-wise and everything, autos just don't make sense. You know, you can't clone them. Photo periods or even feminized photo period plants, you know, you buy the seed once, or you buy the pack once, and as long as you don't mess it up, you keep it for decades, you know?
Yeah. I think a lot of breeders and stuff would be using them too if they were that good, because it's just a one-time use, then you'd have to be getting seeds a lot.
Sure.
Yeah. For crappy conditions outside, though, I think it's great, though. Like if you don't have very good weather or or the winter comes soon.
Yeah, I can see a use for it there. No doubt, no doubt. And I had to plug my phone up at 5%.
I know there's a big
Critically low
autoflower network and autoflower forums and guys really get off on. And I think, like, you know, in certain European countries, you know, autoflowers are huge because you're paying over New York City prices per square foot of living space. So like, you know, in that situation, yeah, you gotta be really size efficient. And if you're growing in mom's basement or you're still in high school or something, yeah, autoflowers are dope. If you're in a dormitory, autoflowers are.
So I've never bought an autoflower seed. I buy a lot of seeds from the name of this website, Attitude Seed Banks, and they always throw in bonus. So I just take the little bonuses just to get them out of the way and just throw my autoflowers in the corner. If you have space, it's something you could do, but I wouldn't say it's a good plan to practice on because there's nothing you can really do with it, but just let it do what it wants to do.
Oh, that's a good point. Like if you're an autoflower is your first grow, it doesn't really train you or teach you. It teaches you some techniques, right? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's where. Sorry, guys, I had to jump away for a second, but that's kind of where what I was gonna say is that, I mean, you're a beginner grower. The best thing you can do for yourself in the beginning is learn how the plant grows. I mean, you're gonna screw some stuff up. You're gonna be trying to figure out what kind of nutrients and stuff you're using. There's a lot of things that happen on your first grow, but the most important thing is watching the plant grow and learning how it grows. And autos are just a completely different animal. So I mean, you could watch some autos grow, you know, for a couple cycles, and when you switch over to photos, you're gonna be, you know, square one again. So I don't see autos being a good solution for a new grower.
My first auto, I hated it.
Would it be more expensive to run your lights too, because you got to run them longer?
Yep. But I mean, if you have a veg room, I guess it doesn't matter if you're throwing it in the corner. But my first auto,
Sure.
I didn't understand it. So I just had it in my corner and I didn't give it as much light because it was like just no photo period. But it still needs that intensity. So I ended up getting a bunch of airy buds and I thought, oh, I hate autos. And then I tried another auto and it was awesome. So I just kept doing it.
Yeah. I just kind of wonder why, you know, seed breeders don't make more autos. You know, I mean, there's some of the bigger ones out there. They don't even mess with autos.
You gotta get it's a lot of work.
But If you do want to learn about autos, there's a couple people on YouTube growing them. Steve Auto Flower is one of them. He's got a nice little channel. He pretty much just grows autos. I think Dagnug's Grow Lab, you're in the chat. I think it was you. Aren't you growing some autos? You could maybe throw it up in the chat. But either way, go check out Dagnug's Grow Lab on YouTube as well. I think he's got a couple autos going in his bedroom. And hey, Loki's got some too. So maybe Loki will show us his autos next time when he posts his next video up. But
oh, here's a juicy one, Wookiee from Florida's Finest. You wanna go for another topic?
Yeah, let's roll.
Are you auto flowered out? I'm already auto flowered out. I hadn't even
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got much to say on that.
Florida's Finest asks, what do you think about a Peltier cooling unit for a reservoir? Can't really afford an aquarium chiller. And I think Peltier units are going to end up costing you probably more than a compressor unit. But Loki, what about a dehumidifier?
That's the 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Loki, lace us up here, bro.
Lace it.
Yeah. I mean, you can just use your dehu. If you got most people always have an old dehumidifier and it has a cooling element and a heating element. If you can get that metal bent without cracking it, that cooling element will cool your whole reservoir. Some people say that the copper is not good for your plants, but there's some dehumidifiers that have completely aluminum cooling elements. One of mine is aluminum. My older one is copper, but I've been using it for years and I haven't seen any adverse effects, so I continue to.
Gromas, are you talking about like a water chiller so it takes warm water to cold water system?
Well, he's just asking about cooling his reservoir, right?
Yeah.
So if it's a small res, you know, there's a few options, but Loki's thing is something that I have never seen before, you know, and so is your current dehumidifier / chiller, is that aluminum?
Yeah, it's aluminum.
It is. Okay. It is important to note that copper and copper oxides are they kill invertebrate organisms like bacteria. So if, you know, like if you're running sterile, it's not a big deal. And there may be other harmful things with copper oxides that I'm not aware of, but I trust in your experience in saying, you know, you didn't have any problems in the grow. But if you can find, so Loki, how do we even tell if we've got a dehuey that's got an aluminum core in it? You got to open it up.
Yeah, you got to open it up. You find out by the time you open it. But I use one with a copper core also.
What model? So, like who makes it? Higher?
I'm gonna walk over to it right now.
Okay. We're kind of doing a spoiler alert because I feel like this is pretty revolutionary. The way a dehumidifier works is it's got a compressor. Go ahead.
Like an AC. So yeah, this one is what is this? I done took the whole case off. I don't know what it is. So let me get my video on.
Does Baby Grow Mouse, or I don't know if Loki's busy, but does his dehumidifier still is it still functional as a dehumidifier while chilling
no
water?
Way. No way.
Oh, okay, that would be it. That's what when I saw that I was like, fuck, did he?
So
that'd be dope.
So this is the cooling element that comes in the front. That just keeps your water cool. And this gets hot. I hook this up so all my hot air goes out of the room. That's basically what's inside of your chiller. So the water gets pumped into your chiller, circulated around something like this, and then spit back out the other end. I'm just putting this straight into the reservoir.
Right. So there's two types of chillers. One's called a flow through that has either a titanium or a stainless steel coil inside of a PVC, and you pump water through it and it chills and it comes out cool on the other side. There's another type of chiller, what's called a drop in, that typically has titanium or stainless. That's why it's so expensive. And you drop the coil in the aquarium or in the reservoir. So you've essentially created a drop-in chiller with this aluminum dehumidifier. And so you didn't have to do any HVAC work with it. You just very carefully bent the copper.
Yep. No tools. The only tool I needed was a screwdriver.
Cool. And what model? Who makes it? Who makes yours, Loki?
I'm sorry, I hit the mic button. I have no idea who makes it. I just bought one. I'll check my Amazon order and see which one it was.
Oh, because you threw the front cover where it says the name of it?
Yeah. So, all right.
Here's a question for you, Loki.
One is a GE. The older one is a GE. You see that?
Yeah. Let me read this off to the chat. Stay there for a second. It's a GE Model number Alpha Delta Epsilon Leo 70 Leo Red Leo 1 ADEL 70, and then whatever the rest is. It's Loki with this camera.
L1.
LRL1.
Okay, cool.
So here's a question for you, Loki. So when you got that, when you made this modification, is it was your dehumidifier broken and then you can make it into this instead, or are you basically ruining the dehumidifier by doing this?
My
Like
dehumidifier
if we
was,
like say somebody's got an old dehu that's not working anymore, can they mod it to do this, or is it you're basically gonna take apart a good one?
I mean, it all depends on what's wrong with your dehumidifier. So if you have an old dehumidifier and your coolant element isn't working, or you're out of Freon, or you're out of whatever kind of gases it uses, it won't be helpful to you. But I've had like an old dehumidifier where it just wasn't working, or it wasn't as efficient anymore. So I used it for that. But I've taken a new one also, because a new dehumidifier from Amazon is about $130. The controller that I use is $20. That's $150. A chiller starts at $400. Is it worth it?
Hey, I think that's you know what I'm saying. That's DIY in a nutshell right there. That's what it's all about, man.
I got 2 dehueys up in my attic, and the only thing wrong with them is the display went out. So I can't hit, when I hit the buttons, I don't know if it's going up or down. You know, like I don't know where my starting point is. That's the only thing wrong with them. You plug them in, they run.
So if you're gonna, you can use those. Those are perfect because you don't need the display. You just need it to turn on. I use a controller to control the actual temperature.
Well, you better get on that video because now I'm getting motivated. I might snake your whole idea, dude.
Damn, Daniel.
Yeah. You definitely want to do it before Grow Mouse. You don't want to follow Grow Mouse's video because you know he's gonna have he's gonna go laser cut a fucking. He's gonna name it.
I know exactly how he's gonna do it. Instead of dropping the coolant into the res, if I could do it, I would. I would build a frame instead of using the coolant into the res that I could pump the water in and pump the water out just like a res would. But it works fine for me this way.
It's gonna be the canopy chiller.
We should brainstorm this. Because there may be something acrylic at like the Container Store, or you could possibly go to some aquarium shop and get a acrylic fish tank. You know, if fish tanks are glass or plexiglass typically. Yeah, obviously you can drill glass. It's not hard. You get the drill bits, diamond bits off Amazon for like $20. But acrylic, you know, you just drill it with wood bits. So yeah, you'd make like a little vessel that you put that in, like a fish tank, 10-gallon fish tank. And then you pump your res water through that, right? So that you don't have to have that whole unit right next to your reservoir. You could run it remote. Hell, you could probably even run it outside the grow room. But you're solving that by pumping that hot air, compressor air right out of the room, which is dope. But if you're running sealed with CO2, then you know you're pumping some air out. But you're not running CO2, right?
No, I want to run CO2, but my the chiller is not even where the plants is. I have a pipe going through the wall for my control bucket. So my control bucket is outside of the room.
Very cool. Which is even better because then you're running your control bucket outside of an 80-degree room, right? Like your basement could be like 60 or 65, right? Yeah, that's cool.
And then I'm actually just able to go in at night. It doesn't matter what time, check my water. I could even do a res change without ever going in the room.
I am back. My battery died. My bad.
Let me check my battery.
Just want to give a quick shout out to chat. See some new faces popping in, some regulars. We got Alaska Med Grower, Woody. What's up, bro? The Weed Reader, Poops 420, Ill Will, Canna Sewer Farms, EB Kong, Ghost in the Sunlight. What's going on, guys? Shadow Warrior, thanks for joining us. For the new people that are popping in, I know we got, let's see here. What are we at right now? We're sitting at 93 people watching, 94 people watching right now. So that's...
Hit those thumbs.
Yeah, everybody hit that thumbs up. Thanks for popping in. That's pretty good. Definitely for a Sunday evening. Yeah. Kind of what we're doing for anybody that's just popping in. This is just kind of a new grower stream. We're answering questions for new growers. Any question, nothing stupid question. And then we're just kind of shooting the shit, you know what I'm saying? Just a chilled hangout. It's not anything, you know, too crazy or official. So you got a question, drop it in the chat. We'll try to answer all of them for you, and we won't read your name. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to be embarrassed to ask any questions. If we when we post this to YouTube, your name won't be the chat goes away, so your name won't be in the video, and you don't have to worry about having your question on the internet. So here's the uni grower asking another question. He said we could use his name earlier, so I'm still using it. What are the opinions on lighting for a first grow where budget is tight and only growing 3 to 4 plants? Consider DIY LED, but still think Amazon HID would be more cost effective. Yeah, man. I mean, let's see what he's saying here. I want to read this question one more time just to make sure I get it right. Budget's tight, so we got money is the limitation for him. He's only growing 3 to 4 plants. It's your first grow, man. If money's tight, you know what I'm saying, you got to do what you got to do. I'm not sure what your spacing is. I don't know. Maybe you could drop in the comments what your space is, because depending on where you're growing, it's gonna make a lot of difference on your lighting. But when money's tight, there's some good options on Amazon. I don't know. Grow Mouse, just take this one away, bro. You're the lighting guy.
Embarrassingly, I can you repeat the question? Sorry.
He's just he's saying it's his first grow. Okay. Money's tight. He's growing 3 to 4 plants. He wants to know, should he do DIY LED, or should he just go get something like a HID or something off Amazon? What would be the most cost effective? Definitely, he has a budget limitation.
Do we get a grow space?
Oh, he just popped it in. Okay, so it's either going to be a 2x4 or a 3x3.
I would go for the 3x3 because I think you'll find that that's just going to be easier to cover with a square light. Most lights, the majority of lights are square, not rectangle. So I would go with the 3x3, and I would buy a 315 watt ceramic metal halide if you can afford that. You could probably try to find a used one, or there's a lot of cheap options on the market. They may not be the best ballast or reflector, but go cheap on the ballast, go cheap on the reflector, and go as much as you can afford on the bulb. But if you're really budget strapped, there's nothing wrong with a 400 watt HPS either.
Sure.
But I would definitely go the most wattage that you can afford that you can handle HVAC wise, because then the harvest will be bigger, and if your goal is to vend some of the product to improve your grow, then you have more product to vend, and then you can upgrade later, because you could get a 400 watt for like $100 these days on Craigslist.
Real quick, I don't want to mean to cut you off, Grow Mouse, but I just want to say Grandmaster level's got to take off, so I just want to say bye and thank you for stopping in, man. Really appreciate it.
Later,
no
Jim
problem.
Bell.
Thanks a lot. I got so much work going on, but I just wanted to come and talk and say hi to everyone and show support. So thanks a lot.
Much appreciated. Everybody, go over to Gmail's channel, Grandmaster Level on YouTube, sub up to him. I'm sure most people in here are already subbed up to him, but there's got to be at least 1 or 2 that aren't. So make sure you get over there and sub up to him.
I feel supported, GML.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, bye.
Okay, Grow Mouse. I didn't mean to cut you off, man. Continue.
You have to cut me off because I just.
So we're looking at he's in a 3x3. We agreed 3x3 is probably better than 4x4. Just the geometry of it with most grow lights, and 315 or 400 watt HPS are probably going to be your best bet, cheapest bang for your buck. DIY LED, if you're asking us about that, I think you know how most of the people over here feel about that, at least on this panel, but it's pretty obvious.
Can we
it's not the most cost effective, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's just explore this. Let's just talk out loud, okay? So let's say you went over to northerngrowlights.com and you bought you bought 2 of the big SSTX heat sinks. They're $25 a piece. So that's $50, right? Then you go over to Rapid LED and you buy 2 Veros, and they're $25 a piece, and they have the integrated holder. And if you get the Vero SE, it's got the poke-in connector, so you don't need to buy any hardware. So that's 25 and 25, so that's another $50. So now you're in it for $100, and then you go down to your local metal supplier, because when you're poor, you have to pound the pavement. You have to order from multiple websites, and you have to drive around the city to save money. So you go down to your local metal shop, the guys that sell steel and aluminum, and you ask them if you can browse their drop section. and you buy aluminum by the pound, it's $1.15 to $1.30 a pound, and you find some kind of aluminum that you can build a little structure or whatever. Hell, you could probably build it out of wood since you're just doing it for the first run. Obviously, wood's combustible, so it's not ideal for a framework to hold these two heat sinks, but it'll get you by. And sometimes we have to do things to get us through that first grow that might not be optimal. Okay, so let's just say the frame is as close to free as a hamburger. So you got 50 in the heat sinks, 50 in the cobs. Then you just need a driver, and the driver that you need is an HLG 240-2100B. And that's going to run you about $65 to $68. So for $168, you can get a 200-watt cob setup that will be pretty damn close to the other options that we mentioned. And then obviously the value of your time. But when you're strapped, you got to put in the time if you don't have the money.
Hey, on that note too, Grow Mouse, what are the cutter kits still going? The Grow Mouse cutter kits?
Yeah, they're definitely still going.
How much were those? Those are.
It's a little tricky because the website is in Australian dollars, and it's actually a really good deal for America, or for people that use U.S. dollars right now, because our currency is valued pretty well against the Australian currency. Let me look over at the website. And just to be clear, these aren't my kits. I don't benefit financially from these kits in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not sponsored by Cuddle Electronics. I just,
My man Grow Mouse with the disclaimer.
Well, a lot of people message me and say, how much
are they not was I wrong to call them the Grow Mouse cutter kits, or?
No, that's what they're called. Yeah, I mean, my image is right on their website.
Okay.
I should probably screen share if you want.
Yeah.
We just see what something like this costs right now.
Say what? If I remember right, they're like around the $400 range or something like that.
To be honest with you, I have nothing to do with the business side of this, at all. So I don't even know.
See.
Okay, so this one is, it says $525. That's Australian dollars. So this is $395 US, and it is for a 4-cob kit. Man, yeah, prices went up. This was $100 cheaper last month. I don't know what's up with that.
Oh, wow.
This could be a typo, or something could have changed. Yeah, unfortunately, this is probably not going to fit in the budget.
Word. Well, I mean, we don't really know what his budget is. I mean, he's looking for what most cost effective. So, I mean, this could be an option. I mean, I don't think a 315 ceramic metal halide. How much are those going for? Like a grower's choice.
I don't want to quote something wrong. I don't want to say 300 something and it'd be 400 something. I'd have to look.
I'll look it up.
You also want to look at the amount of amperage that you have at your house too, which kind of leads me to a question for you, Wookiee. What do you have any difference in change in your amperage since going to that LED light from your?
What do you mean difference in change?
Well, I mean, I guess you weren't running HPS before, but is there a difference in amperage between that light and say 1,000-watt HPS?
Yes, very much.
Oh yeah. There's definitely a difference in amperage.
What is it?
I mean,
it all depends on your ballast.
Yeah. So I haven't run HPS recently. I ran HPS probably 8 years ago, 9 years ago, and I to be honest with you, I just wouldn't be comfortable saying anything. But from what I was running before, I was running those LEDs, the Chinese blurples, and the wattage and amperage that I was pulling on those is I think pretty similar to what I'm at now. I mean, those were 530, 540 watts. I only went up about 100 watts, so not much different there. It's just the output is completely different. So.
So let me answer you, SoCal. The ballast on my 1,000-watt, when I had a 1,000-watt, it was like 8.6 amps, and I had to figure that out because I had a 30-watt switch, 30-amp switch, and I had to make sure that I divided everything with enough space. So it was like 8.6 amps on the 1,000-watt ballast.
Mm-hmm.
On each driver, damn, I can't remember off my head. Groma, I know you know it. What's the voltage, the ampage on the drivers on the 320? I think it's like 5 amps, something like that.
I'll tell you.
It's like 5 point something, right?
Yeah, 5.6 or something like that. But it's less. It helped a lot on my circuit board.
All right, let's not get too tangenty here though.
No,
Let's try to
but the reason why I'm saying that is because if you do go HPS and you're you don't have enough amperage to support it, you're going to be buying some more stuff, and it could get kind of costly that way too. So you got to think of it that way.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the things that most people never check on their ampage, and they don't realize until this breaker starts going off.
Yeah, and then it can get costly there too. So I mean, sometimes going LED, So
Grow Mouse McConaughey is saying that it's $300 for the 4-cob cutter kit without the driver.
Yeah, it says $299 MSRP.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, because a lot of guys were wanting to like use their own mean wells or whatever.
Yeah, word. I was say because I thought that's what I thought I remembered it being right around $400 when I was looking at them a while back.
Hold on, the Grower's Choice uses a driver?
No, we're not talking about Grower's Choice. We're talking about the cutter kit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I meant to look up Grower's Choice.
Yeah, the Grower's Choice says $299 MSRP. That's I thought that's what it was.
No. Yeah. Okay. So $299 for a 315. Then that's where we're okay. Look at Grow Mouse got it up. $299 for a ceramic metal halide 315. So that's right in that range. I mean, you're looking at forking out an extra $100 to get the mouse cutter kit. And then what were we at on the Vero 29 build, Grow Mouse?
It's
160.
So here's how it's going to work out to your actual wallet book, because McConaughey just bought one. And I think 400 is a totally fair price. I must have been quoting, the non-driver thing. So you got 400 there, and then I think he paid like $60 to ship it, and then another $18 for handling. So you let's just call it 500 by the time you're done building it. And then this one's $299, and it's ready to plug in. And then over at Timber, it's $399. Their wiring harness for their Vero and stuff, it's a little bit more user friendly, but you still got to build a frame. So yeah, 300, 400, 500, depending on what options you want to go with. Cree is going to be probably the most efficient option, the best option.
Right.
But for a budget, if your budget is so tight that overspending on your lighting is going to not allow you to buy other necessary things for the grow, like a carbon filter, depending on where you're at, this would be a good choice. You could stretch your dollar.
I got a question about these ceramic metal halides. I've been seeing them around a lot. I know a lot of people are talking about them recently, and you got the ballast and the hood and the bulb all in one package there, right? So how is this going to run in like a 3x3 tent when it's not like a vented hood? I mean, is this going to make it super fucking hot in there or what?
I mean, you got to exhaust. You got to have to exhaust a tent. I mean, unless you're living in a living room that's like 62 degrees all the time. So you'd have to vent it with LED too. Right.
That's what I'm saying. Is it pretty comparable to the heat from LED? I mean, because I know with the LED you could just use exhaust the tent, but I've never seen anybody run open hoods in a 3x3 tent. Is what I'm getting at. If anybody's running a small tent like that with a HID, they usually have the cooled hood.
This gets into a little more complicated, longer kind of topic, but between lighting systems, T5, LED, HPS, all that stuff, watts are watts. And if you're pulling 300 or 400 watts, or you're pulling 400 watts, the amount of BTUs of heat is very similar. I mean, LEDs aren't magical, and heat doesn't just disappear. But one of the reasons that LED runs cooler for two reasons. One, you can use less watts to do the same job because of efficacy, which we covered yesterday. Right. The other reason is it lacks IR. And this puts out something like maybe 14, 15% IR. And IR heats up anything, So yeah, these are going to run hotter. But in LED, you're going to have to vent the tent either way. So.
Word. Yeah. All right. So did we cover the question? Did we?
Adequately.
Fair enough. All right. So I hope that answers your question. Don't even remember who asked it, but I think somebody asked it, and hopefully they're still here to hear that. checking through chat, seeing if we
Probably
got
could have
anything
made
else.
that answer about 10 minutes shorter if we would have had a dollar figure. But hey,
Yeah.
you know, there's probably 10, 15 other people that are watching that might have
Sure.
been in the $400 category or the $500 category.
Sure.
Chronicles cost is pretty small. It cost me $47 per frame. So he's probably building pimping frames. Don't buy your frame material from the hardware store like Lowe's and Home Depot, man. It's like 2.5 times the cost of a metal store. Crazy.
Oh, okay. There he is. Unigrower. He said, yes, that answered a question and a lot of extra info that answered some other questions too. So badass.
Dope.
There's a good question right above that. Jelly greens.
Which question? I don't see it.
You want me to read it? It's
Yeah,
it says Trichome Chasers TV. How long from sprout should I wait before daily feedings with drippers and cocoa? And then also, do wet cycles initially help root development?
I think Grow Mouse. I don't know. Do you use drippers, SoCal?
I don't. But
Grow
I
Mouse is the dripper guy.
I have before though.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little confused by the question. Would you mind repeating it?
Yeah, it says, how long from sprout should I wait before daily feedings with drippers and cocoa?
I would wait as long as possible. You know, I mean, like, why automate when you don't need to? I have 31 seedlings sitting here, and they're like 3 weeks old, and I only have to water them like probably like twice a week, maybe. You know, I'm foliar spraying them too. So
Right.
I don't want to automate a process that I'm not comfortable with yet. You know, new seedlings, they're drying out at different rates because I got some runts and then I got some stunners. So I would wait until it gets to the point of where you're having to water like every day or every other day to add any kind of, system like that, top feed or whatever. Or, you could just put him in an ebb and flow deal. Dago, from day one, he's flooding his ebb and flow like three times during the day, one time at night, which I think is insane. But
I do the same thing.
That's what Vader does too.
That's what Vader does. So now I'm going to try that,
I don't flood them 3 times a day. I heard Dago talking about that the other night, and he floods them 3. I kind of scale it up. I usually start with 2. It's not much different though. I start with 2, and then I jump to 3 later. So I mean, it's really the same thing.
I've never flooded at night. I didn't know you had to.
You don't have to. You don't have to, but you can.
Vader says he just does it because of that longer period of time. He likes to have a little bit of a,
Yeah, you definitely don't have to, but you can if you want to. It's kind of like peace of mind, and make sure that through the long 12 hours they kind of stay moist. But I personally don't flood at night, so there's no reason. I could try it, and I don't know.
There are other reasons to flood at night besides just the moisture of the media. And it's a more complicated topic, but whoever's interested, I would recommend like looking up and researching the like starch transfer throughout the plant and in the rhizosphere, and getting some of those starches out of the root zone and into the reservoir where they can be diluted at night.
Oh wow!
Tell me more.
That's as much as I know.
So okay, so there's a benefit to flooding at night other than. Okay.
Wookiee's flooding tonight.
Yeah. So go upstairs, click the timer. No big deal.
The
from what it sounds like, what you're saying, like I get with mine, especially with my nutrients, I get salt buildup in the cocoa a lot. I actually just had it happen again, Grandmouse, what we were talking about before, and I had to go in and flush everything out last night because I was starting to get some rust coloration and check the runoff, and it was way too high. So are you saying that a flood at night could possibly help get rid of some of that, or?
No, it's a different process. So when plants are photosynthesizing, obviously they're making sugar, but there are other products of photosynthesis aside from glucose that build up in the plant during the lights on. When the plant goes to sleep, during lights off, there is a transfer that happens between the tops and the leaves and everything down to the root system. It's transpiration during the day is generally, well, it is upwards, right? It's from the roots up to the shoots, but at night, fluids, starches, proteins, things like that are transferred throughout the plant back down to the root system. So I don't want to get into too much pseudoscience here because I'm a little bit fuzzy on it. I'd have to brush up on it, but there is value to flooding at night due to excretions in the rhizosphere
So
that
we're
are
talking about-
related to starches.
Talking about washing off the plant's butt pretty much right now.
Butt
Washing
wash,
off the
little butt
doo-doo.
wash,
That's what it sounds like.
little butt wash, yeah.
Word.
Because you create it, like when something's bound up on the roots, whether that's a starch or something like that, it reaches a point where the roots aren't going to want to excrete any more starch out into the media because there's no gradient there. And when you flood at night, it creates a gradient, right? It's clean now, so they can excrete more starch or more waste products. Plants have waste in their root system in the rhizosphere. So that's what it's related to. That's about as deep as I can get before I just start making shit up.
Word.
I got a little
Appreciate
something
that.
to touch on that too, if you don't mind.
Yeah, come on.
Back in the day when I did flood and drain, it's one of the ways I started indoor, and it was my buddy's grow. That's the only time we've ever really had a problem with salt buildup, and I've ever really encountered it. And it was a lot of times because when you do the top feeding, you're pushing that salt down, and then when you do like a 10 to 20% runoff with top feeding cocoa, you can actually get the chance to push that salt down. But when you're doing a flood and drain, it's coming from the bottom up, so it doesn't get pushed out of the pot as easy. So and what his problem was though is he wasn't feeding enough times per day, so it was allowing the medium to dry out a little bit, and as it dries, that's when the salt starts to build up. So in my opinion, by adding one more feeding at night, that may help with your salt buildup.
Word. Yeah, that's all. You know, when I hear things like this, like I like hearing things like this, and I know people that do it already that are successful with it. And when I hear, you know, that's all I need to hear for me to go ahead and make a change and start testing it out. So, you know what I'm saying? It
Sure.
definitely isn't going to hurt.
Yeah, you're doing great, but anybody can optimize. I mean, it's all about optimization.
Yeah, you're always looking to improve, and you're always, I mean,
Okay.
nothing. My garden is not perfect by any means, so I'm definitely always looking to make improvements. So,
Sure.
SoCal's right on it, dude. I agree 100%. Where the confusion comes in is that a lot of us grew up reading Ed Rosenthal books, and it was either him or Jorge. One of the two guys was like, nope, don't flood at night. So when you read something from a well-respected, multiple dozen time published author, you're like, okay, cool. That's the Bible. Don't flood at night. Well, now we're in a different era, a whole different decade. You know, it's been 10 years since those guys' books were really the Holy Grail. And now we're learning a little more science from like laboratories and universities pertaining to cannabis, that we're getting a little bit bigger picture of what's happening with our plants.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
no disrespect to those guys. They're still my heroes.
Yeah, I like how Jorge talks to everyone like they're 5. Hey, little viewers.
I got the Grow Bible. I mean,
yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Anyways, guys, I got one. You know what? I think we're gonna call this one last question. We've been going for about 2.5 hours here. I think that's probably a good time to cut this off tonight. But I got one more question here, and I kind of want to toss it to Grow Mouse. It's McConaughey's asking what he's using Jax. He wants to know what he should add to Jax. He says he lists off a few products, and he wants to know if these are something he should add. He has Epsom, Fulvic, Silica, Biocozyme, and Mammoth P. Okay, I'm reading the question wrong. He's using Jax, he's using Epsom, he's using Fulvic, Silica, Biocozyme, and Mammoth P. He's asking if he should add Rock Resonator, Terpinator, and Recharge. He's in cocoa.
Okay. Well, Jax is, just the base. So like when people say Jax, I'm assuming it's just shorthand because they don't want to type out the 3, 2, 1, calcium nitrate being the 2 and Epsom salt being the 1. So that's a given, right?
Right.
Fulvic is obviously going to help keep stuff from binding up, right? So Fulvic, no brainer, absolutely 100%. Biocozyme, absolutely. It's so cheap. The dosage rate is so low, 1 mil per gallon. You run that all the way through right until before flush. And so that's a no-brainer. So Jax 321, Fulvic, Biocozyme, those elements are like the starter kit plus, right? So you have the base package, then that's the intermediate package, okay? And you can have great results with the just 321. You can have great results with the intermediate package. If you want to start inoculating with Recharge, you're only going to see great results. There's absolutely zero negative impact to adding Recharge to that system that I can see scientifically or otherwise, other than maybe like the $50 hit to your pocketbook every couple months or whatever. Mammoth, sure, absolutely, go ahead. You don't need rock resonator because you can use the online tools to adjust the ratios of 3-2-1 to suit your phosphorus needs. So like you might go to like a 3.2-to-1, and Green Gene has covered this on his YouTube channel in depth and showed you the Hydro Buddy program or whatever he's using. But if you'd like to add rock resonator, you probably could. I'm just not using that product anymore. It's just a personal choice. I don't look down on anyone that is. The other, you could use an organic PK boost as well. Just because it's salty doesn't mean you can't, use a microbe or something like that, or an organic. It's there's no rules.
Recharge. I'm curious about recharge. Is that something you could add regardless of your system, whether you're in drip, flood and drain? Could you add something like that to DWC? Tell me more about recharge.
Can't use it in a res. You can use it everywhere else though.
Okay, so if you're in a res, you can't just dump it.
It'll turn your res into a sewer in like 2-3 days.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a question. I don't know if I'm losing my mind, but I'm in the grow room and it's been happening all day. This is why I had to say something. Maybe I got like a loose wire somewhere, but every time I touch my plant, I'm getting shocked.
Oh shit.
I don't get it. And it doesn't matter which plant. But I don't have any water anywhere, and all my
Is it
plants,
the alien rift, bro?
Bro,
Don't question the alien rift, man.
I feel crazy for even saying this to anybody, but I am fucking shocked.
It's probably
I have
you,
to get somebody else in my house to come touch this. No, someone else has to touch this.
Is there a way you could test it for current grow mouse?
I mean, well, hang on a second. What do we know here about Loki's grow room? So your plants obviously are plugged in. You're in a DWC, and you have an electric. The only electrical thing that can be touching these plants would be your chiller that's going through the water through up to the. Is that possible, grow mouse?
Nah.
Could his chiller be electrically charging his water and then zapping him?
No.
Okay, there's a couple things that could be going on here, and I have a lot of experience with this because I worked in the aquarium industry for 10 years, and I would always stick my fingers, and I'd have like a cut underneath the cuticle of my finger into a saltwater fish tank, and right as my fingertip touched the water, I would feel a very light little shock, almost like a static shock that you go up to your brother and touch him with the static shock, times a few. So it's typically coming from stray voltage in an aquarium from either a heater or a power head. So what could be happening is there could be a loose connection or something in the dehumidifier / chiller. And because aluminum is conductive, and that's what's your probe in your reservoir, you could be getting some current, some stray current through there. What I would suggest is go onto go onto Amazon and type in grounding probe or aquarium grounding probe. It's more of a Band-Aid solution than a true fix. But if you put the grounding probe in your water and it plugs into the wall, right? But the two plugs where the electricity are plastic, and just that third prong, the ground prong, interfaces with the plug. So basically it's like a wire. You could actually stick a wire in that third hole in your electrical plug where the ground is and stick that in your reservoir. But that's pretty ghetto, and people would see that on your video and start thumbs downing. Get a grounding probe for yourself for now. Yeah,
that's funny.
All right, guys. I hope that helps you, Loki. I don't want you to get electrocuted or anything, man. Okay. So anyways, guys, just want to kind of drop the mic right there. Been going for about 2.5 hours. We're sitting at 109 viewers watching right now.
We did hit 110.
Yeah, that's dope. Make sure you slap the thumbs up button on the way out, guys. Really appreciate everybody coming in, everybody in chat, Woody, Airwalk 1616. A lot of guys been sticking around for the whole stream. This was kind of just like an impromptu thing that we wanted to kind of test the waters to see if you guys liked it. So if you liked it, definitely hit the thumbs up. Drop us a comment. Tell us what you thought. We could take criticism. We just wanted to, it's a new stream. We got kind of a Sunday night void on Trichome Chasers TV, so we're just kind of testing to see what you guys think. So definitely let us know if you like it. Just want to thank everybody that came on. Grandmaster Level took off a little bit ago. Grow Mouse, thank you as always. It's a pleasure to have you on. Loki Grow, thank you for coming on, bro. SoCal, you'll definitely be a staple here in every week with us on this one. So
yeah, sorry I'm so tired tonight. I'm beat, man.
No, it's all good, man. But yeah, So, and of course, anybody that's been on, you're always welcome on. But definitely check out everybody's channel. Loki Grow just started up. He's got a, he's only been going for 24 hours. He's already hit over 100 subscribers. So go over there and check him out. He's got a dope grow. Check out Grow Mouse, SoCal, everybody on the panel. And appreciate you guys stopping in with us tonight. So
Yeah, it was fun. Good talking to everybody.
Yeah, man. I'm Wookiee Kush. See you guys next time.